Thank you very much for staying with us. Now let's begin with some developments in the polity. House of Representatives has passed the 49.7 trillion naira proposed 2025 appropriation bill for second reading. This is barely 24 hours after President Bola Tinubu presented the fiscal document to a joint sitting of the National Assembly for the better part of the day's legislative business. Members took turns to speak on the 2025 fiscal document presented by the President. House leader says the ambitious spending plan will impact the lives of the people once passed into law. A high court in the FCT has granted bail to the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, in the sum of 500 million naira and 3 assurances in like sum. Justice Mayam Anene granted bail to Mr. Bello in view of the oral application moved by his counsel, which was not objected by the prosecution. Celestina Iria reports.
As part of the bail conditions, the sureties must be holders of title documents to property in Maitama district or any other area within the jurisdiction of the court. The title documents of the property should be deposited with the court. The sureties must deposit a copy of a means of identification with the...
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707-272-8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur. Welcome to Warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an Hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrency.
Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate fact from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teachers.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything.
If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
You're watching. 2.4 million Nigerians embraced health insurance within the past year, bringing the total number of Nigerians covered to 19.6 million. Let's hear from the minister.
For all Nigerians in the sector-wide approach and health sector renewal investment initiative approved by the President and unveiled by the President just 1 year ago, we have seen more than 10 million Nigerians receive critical services in these primary health care centers over the last 1 year. We've seen increase in antenatal care. We've also seen increase in skilled birth attendance. We've seen more than 2.4 million Nigerians have now been covered by health insurance, bringing Nigerians health insured to 19.6 million. That's really good progress. But this is just 1 year, and more will come in the next year.
Now, while this feat is laudable, it is not yet uhuru, because the last I checked, we are a country of 200 million people. However, what does it take to enroll in the National Health Insurance Scheme? The qualifications and eligibility. Does the NHIS cover all medical treatment or some? And what is the cost implication? All this and more, I will be asking the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, who joins me live from our Abuja studio. Prof, good evening to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us on Politics Tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Right. You know, we've been seeing many of your initiatives on the news concerning the attraction of new investments in health sector, manufacturing, and we all know that job creation is a major part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's agenda. So can you give us a better understanding of the nexus between economic empowerment and the health sector, and how do you seek to achieve greater investment in the space?
Very good. As you know, the vision of the President is for Nigeria to be a country that is prosperous, people-oriented and peaceful. And health is at the core of the human capital agenda within the overall agenda of the President. Health is both a cause, but also can be a consequence of human capital accumulation for a population to drive the economic development that will lead to the prosperity that we have. And so investing in health, whether it's for the adolescent mother, pregnant woman, the early child, as well as ensuring the children survive and are well nourished, will lead them to be healthy young ones and responsible adults, and ultimately be contributors to the economy. But there is also the aspect of the right to Nigerians to have their basic health provided by the federal government, states, and local government. In addition, there is an underlying economic value chain that is driving health services, whether it's in production of commodities, whether it's in delivery of services, logistics, and other elements. In addition to the idea that there is a value in being able to produce what we use in our country. In the case of crisis like a pandemic, when there is disruption, we need to have things here. That's why the President established the initiative to unlock the Nigeria's healthcare value chain in October 2023. And over the last year and a few months, this initiative has taken important steps. First, on the policy side, to have an executive order that was signed to provide incentives for those who are importing raw materials or coming to manufacture here in Nigeria, pharmaceuticals, test kits, medical equipment, and other relevant equipment in the healthcare value chain. And secondly, on the demand side, to shape the market, to allow us to pool, procure, and distribute what Nigerians will need in terms of our production of commodities, but to encourage those who are producing to have a market which will serve us, but also could serve others in the West African region and potentially in the continent. In addition, several investors have now expressed interest. More than 72 investment cases well developed. 7 are in the final stages of getting funded. Companies coming to establish. Just 3 days ago, I witnessed the expansion of a plant in Lagos to produce beta-lactam antibiotics, which includes amoxicillin and clavulanic acid, or the augmentin that was a point of discussion in 2023. Now we have a plant in Nigeria that is expanding to produce that, and there are several others that are positioning themselves to manufacture locally in response to the signaling, the policy direction of this administration. That is an example of the value chain optimization, which creates jobs. And I saw more than 700 young, energetic Nigerians in Lagos working in this plant to produce things that will be consumed in this country. That's just one example, but there are several in the pipeline who will be funded for us to begin to produce what we need, even if we have to import other items that we are not yet able to produce from other parts of the world. So that is the idea of optimizing, expanding the healthcare value chain to create economic value, to create jobs, but to produce what will help Nigerians here, hopefully at a lower cost, because we will be substituting from importation of finished products to producing some of these things here, which will be lower cost for our population and to guarantee our health security.
Interesting. So, Prof, I would like for us to compartmentalize tonight's conversation. So first, when it comes to accelerating Nigeria's path to comprehensive cancer control in the areas of innovation, access and partnership, is there a level of commitment to confront the rapid growth of cancer and to adopt a forward-thinking, collaborative approach in prioritizing prevention and early intervention? Now, let me make reference to your discussions with Siemens and another UK company for partnership in the development of cancer centers nationwide. You alluded to concessions that you won for Nigeria. What concessions were those, and what do such negotiations bring to the health sector?
Yes. So non-communicable diseases such as cancers, hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, among the fastest growing segment of Nigeria's burden of disease. And we're trying to get ahead to prepare, to prevent the conditions that can lead to those serious chronic circumstances that many Nigerians face. So prevention, health promotion are a key part of that. We celebrated for the first time a health promotion day where more than 10 million Nigerians this year got screened to check their blood pressure, sugar, cholesterol, and other things. But also PSA screening for cancers of the prostate, mammography, as pap smears for cervical cancer. We also introduced the HPV vaccine, as you recall, in 2023 and May 2024, where more than 80% of eligible children within the cohort that we targeted were vaccinated with an effective cervical vaccine against HPV, which can prevent cervical cancer. A very successful rollout under this administration to prevent them from getting the circumstances that will develop into a cancer in their later years. In addition, the infrastructure and equipment to treat those who are affected became a major focus. And earlier this year, as you know, the President approved for expansion of 6 major cancer infrastructural projects in our country, including linear accelerators, brachytherapy machines, and imaging equipment. And that was approved, included in the budget, and together with NSIA, the groundbreaking had taken place, and those projects are already underway. 3 of them were expecting to open in May 2025. This is unprecedented. The other 3 will come much later because of the devaluation of the naira. The cost of buying the equipment externally became a bit of a challenge, but we've added that in the budget that the President presented yesterday so that we can complete the 6 major. This is unprecedented in our country. But in the process of doing that, we went to original equipment manufacturers of those linear accelerators and reached a deal with them to buy from them, and they offered a 30% discount for Nigeria for buying directly from the equipment manufacturers, because those equipment have to be produced, they are not off the shelf. And so we expect that they would be brought, and it will be very cost effective for us, given that we don't have unlimited resources. When I went to Electra in the UK, for instance, I saw how they were assembling those equipment, but by being there, we're able to get them to extend the warranty from 1 to 2 years. That is for the cancer equipment in the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, which was flooded, as you recall, in September this year, to get it back up and running quickly. And that is a good concession from Electa to be able to give a 2-year warranty, to give discount to Nigeria, but also to bring us forward so that we can replace what we need. So the two major equipment manufacturers for cancer treatment are engaged with us, and they do see the direction of this administration, and they're working with us to ensure that over time we expand the cancer infrastructure and equipment. It's not enough. More will need to be done. But at least we've started what has not been done in over 20 years in this country, to invest in a serious manner for patients to be able to have high-quality cancer care, not having to go abroad for medical treatment for cancers when they can get those treatments available in our country today. And we will continue in that direction to upgrade our healthcare infrastructure so that we can all be proud of it, and our health workers will be trained to be able to deliver services with the infrastructure that we are putting in place. And then they would also be able to practice what they have trained and what they yearn for, to serve patients here in Nigeria, that they don't have to go abroad. It's a long journey.
Absolutely,
but we're
Prof.
taking
It's good to hear that. It's good to hear that the president has approved 6 major cancer infrastructure project. But apart from that, let me remind you of a tweet you posted 2 months ago. You had tweeted about the establishment of #Catastrophic Health Fund to support cancer care. And according to you, it would prevent families from slipping into poverty due to costly treatment. And this fund would provide official financial protection for Nigerians, particularly as cancer treatments are among the most financially devastating. What have you done to push this to the National Assembly?
So it is among the proposals that we submitted for the 2025 appropriation. As you know, the President announced among a set of interventions in 2025, healthcare is one of the major pillars of that. And the idea is to create a fund through the Health Insurance Authority, which is the regulator of health insurance, a payer, which has accredited facilities, to be able to offset costs of catastrophic health instances, whether it's kidney failure, whether it's other catastrophic expenditures that families face, to have a pool of resource that can subsidize it for them. As you know, for a very long time, Nigeria has tried a cancer health fund, but the resources have been very limited and the coverage has been quite limited. We're expanding that. Our proposition is running into billions, but I will not speak about that until it is appropriated into law. But that is the direction, that is the intent, so that we can bring relief to families, to Nigerians who, especially who are poor and vulnerable when they face catastrophic expenditures, while at the same time expanding the coverage of health insurance in our country.
Interesting. Prof, we know that in the grassroots of the country, people want to feel the improvements in their lives. We hear about programs like free C-sections for vulnerable women and repairs for girls affected by VVF. Are these transparent and accessible to those who truly need them? And how broadly is access made feasible in the country?
So I'll tell you, and you can check this out, and any journalist can check this out. You go to the Northeast VVF Center that is in Ningi, and I visited them. And I saw I saw women who suffered from complications of obstetric care, obstetric fistula, who had had their repairs free at the VVF Center, the Northeast Zonal VVF Center. And they were very, very happy with that because they get their lives back and they are being empowered. And they are having that free of charge, thanks to the signaling and the leadership of the President who enabled this to happen. And they were very grateful, praying for the President. if anyone wants to check, they can check at Ningi. There are more than 1,000 women already who have had their obstetric fistulas repaired under this arrangement that we had with the National Health Insurance Authority and several HMOs and the 4 fistula centers in our country. You know, fistula repair is something that you just don't go to any facility. There has to be expertise. There has to be a team that know how to care for them. And in this place that I went in Ningi, I saw women from Borno State, I saw a woman from Lagos State, I saw a woman from Anambra, I saw a woman from Niger State who went to the VVF center to get her fistula repair, in addition to the women who are around that area. So it is real. And there are many other interventions that we had announced, which, if you listen carefully, the facilities that have been empaneled to provide them are provided them live to pregnant women who need obstetric care, emergency obstetric services, who have those services for free. I've had those being brought to my attention that they are feeling the impact. This is really reaching the poorest and most vulnerable. You cannot fake to be a woman, you cannot fake to be pregnant, and you cannot fake to be requiring cesarean section. So in terms of targeting, this intervention, strategic as it is delivering succor to Nigerians who need it the most in our societies. And those are out there, and I encourage Nigerians to really feel it. Now, is it enough? No. Are there gaps? Yes. But we have never done something at this scale as a country until this president focused on transforming our healthcare system. And we're following that path, and we're beginning to make that journey, and we'll continue to cover more. So if there are gaps, we will fill them. But at least in a determined way, we're taking those steps in a very intentional manner to provide the services and the quality that is required for the poorest and most vulnerable in our population.
All right, Prof, let's take a break, and when we come back, we will continue this conversation. Please stay with us, everyone.
Happy birthday to a business icon. Happy birthday to a cerebral businessman, a worthy philanthropist, and a proud son of Edo State. As a friend, a dear brother, and a strong confidant, you have remained a strong backbone. I wish you good health, unending happiness, and success in your endeavor. May the Almighty God continue to protect you, your businesses, and your family. On behalf of my family, the good people of Edo State, and the government, I wish you many happy returns of your day. Happy birthday, Limo Ikbea, OON. Signed, His Excellency Senator Monday Okwebolo, Executive Governor of Edo State.
Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us. Tonight I've been speaking with Professor Mohammed Ali Pate as the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare as we focus on the reform of Nigeria's healthcare ecosystem. Prof, thank you very much for staying with us on the program. You know, just yesterday, you informed Nigerians that more Nigerians were insured by NHIA in 2024 than any other year in its history. Quite amazing, I must say, with 2.4 million enrolled this year alone. So what kind of improvements in the numbers should we expect in 2025? And how do you ensure that insurance actually translates to care that is actually provided to the citizen that is fully enrolled?
It is very much a work in progress. Nigeria's journey to universal health coverage, to expand healthcare insurance, is more than 20 years old. And as of 2023, 16 million Nigerians were estimated to be insured. Now we have, between mid-2023 till today, more than 19 million Nigerians covered. So at the rate of 2.4 million, if we had been adding that number over the last 20 years, we should expect about 40 million or more Nigerians to be insured, and we hadn't done that. Partly, the reason is that insurance, someone has to pay the premium. And who will pay the premium for the poorest and most vulnerable, who are living on small amounts of resources monthly or daily, outside the formal sector? That's why the Vulnerable Groups Fund that is hosted at the NHIA becomes a tool for doing so, to cover more and more vulnerable Nigerians, knowing that the formal sector employees are covered, the private sector, the large employers are also covering their populations, so that we can expand the risk pool and cover the most basic and the most common conditions for Nigerians and others who want to afford higher levels of coverage. They can purchase additional insurance. And there are some who purchase insurance that are of international standards. But at least the poorest and most vulnerable Nigerians should be covered. And that's what the Vulnerable Groups Fund has in place. In the context of the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative, we raise additional resources through International Development Association and other grant financiers to provide the reimbursement, for instance, for women who need emergency obstetric services like cesarean section, for those to be reimbursed to the hospital that are empaneled to provide them, and to expand the pool, for instance, as I mentioned earlier, for catastrophic health insurance fund as a special category. But at the end of the day, what we are aiming to do is to provide financial protection, particularly for the poorest and most vulnerable. Others can choose to be self-insured because they know that if they have a large health expense, perhaps they have assets that they can utilize. That's not always the best way to go about it, but in the context of our reality, people may do that. But at the end of the day, the NHIA Act of 2022 also makes health insurance mandatory, manifesting that we are not yet there. But NHIA is now repositioning itself to get us on that path. So we've seen this increment of 2.4. We want to go even higher, faster in 2025, so that Nigeria will be on that trajectory of expanding the risk pool, which ultimately will make it, the premiums much more affordable. We're also going through the actuarial analysis to work out the right premiums for the right coverage of interventions that providers can be paid for. So those are some of the elements that NHIA is driving at this moment to expand financial protection for Nigerians, but especially for the poorest and most vulnerable populations in our society.
Absolutely. You know, I wanted to ask if it would be a case of mandatory national health insurance scheme or decentralization of the social health insurance scheme. I guess you answered that already. Prof, you know, every time we have a conversation, we must talk about primary health care, which is an area that Nigerians have long complained about. And you have set the ambitious target of doubling primary health facilities in Nigeria from the present 8,800 facilities to over 17,600 within the next 4 years. Are we actually on course to achieve this? And are the states and LGAs effectively contributing to the achievement of this objective?
So before I answer that, let me save on the insurance front to call out the state health insurance authorities who have collaborated, complemented what the National Health Insurance Authority is doing as the key regulator. And it's collectively that we're seeing that progress being made in terms of expanding insurance for all Nigerians. And that has to continue. Federal government, states, and other actors coming together to ensure we protect the poorest and most vulnerable. In terms of primary health care, we've seen remarkable progress in terms of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, which is the federal portion of our revenue as a country that is being channeled to states, to more than 8,000 primary healthcare centers in the 36 states of the Federation. On the supply side, through the primary healthcare agencies, to the primary healthcare centers in the form of direct facility financing, so that they can fix their equipment, pen their offices, pay stipends for their health workers, buy some basic commodities. And we have seen also on the Vulnerable Groups Fund providing that protection for those who are covered to access those services. What we have seen in the last 1 year at the BHT, you saw the increase in utilization that we've seen. More than 20 million, 4 million per quarter on average, much more than that, of Nigerians have received outpatient care through the primary health care centers supported by the BHCPF. More than 8 million ANC attendees, not necessarily individual attendees, because a woman may attend multiple times, but at least we're seeing numbers utilization, which means that the services are there. At least 1 million skilled birth attendants through those facilities that are supported with these federal grants. And some states go beyond what the federal government provides in those. And then the revitalization of the primary health care. You know, to revitalize the primary health care center, you need to have the bill of quantities, you need to identify it, you need to procure the contractors to do that. We're doing it in a decentralized manner through the states with resources of the International Development Association that is already allocated for the states to do that. There are 304 that have been completed, and I commissioned one of them already. And there are others, more than 3,000, that are in different stages of being completed. And additional ones with more resources that we're expecting will be revitalized, bringing to the number of 5,000 out of the 8,450 or so primary health care centers that are receiving BHCPF funds. Now, with more resources, you cannot revitalize primary health care for nothing. It costs money. Healthcare is not cheap, and the investment has to come. So as resources are available, we will continue to revitalize them. Our ambition is to reach the 17,000 by 2027. I believe that we have started well. We are making good progress, and it's not going to be easy, but we are committed to expanding the retail outlets for services to all Nigerians, the most basic healthcare services. That is what we are working towards.
All right, so Prof, for the purpose of clarity, are you saying the states and the LGAs are giving you the needed support to achieve your aim and targets?
I have to say the Nigeria Governors Forum, and indeed all the state governors that we've interacted with, we've had several interactions with them. I think so far they have expressed really genuine commitment to partner with the federal government under the leadership of the president. They signed a compact, and in fact with the new sector-wide program that we have launched, more than 30 states have already written to the Ministry of Health saying they want to be part of it, to get the resources, the incentives, and to complement what the federal government is doing. So our governors, I think, are seeing clearly the direction that, look, the health of our population, it's key. Our population, as the president said, is our most important asset. The young children, our women, and that we can use health as a basis of building human capital and social capital. And it is in the interest of the federal government, states, local government, civil society, all actors to work together to get the health system we deserve. If we want a better health system, it is us as Nigerians that will create it. And that's what the president is trying to get us to do. And I believe the governors also understand that, and we're seeing cooperation with them. And even Algon was part of the conversation that we're having, and that they are also keen in, because it affects everyone. Health affects everyone, whether you're public sector, private sector, whether you are in this part of the country or that, wherever you are, it matters for you that there is access to basic care, whether it's immunization, care for pregnant women, treatment of basic diseases, treatment of hypertension, diabetes. That is what we're trying to do.
All right. Prof, because you said healthcare is not cheap, so let's talk about budgetary allocations to the health sector. Yesterday, the president presented the 2025 budgets to the National Assembly, and he allocated 2.4 trillion naira to the health sector, which is roughly 5% of the budget. Is this enough budgetary support to enable you achieve your ambitious target? And how will these resources align with the state and donor financing?
So, first, I think we must be very grateful to His Excellency, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for this tremendous statement that he has made by allocating significant resources to provide for the health of Nigerians. And if the subnational levels of government complement His Excellency, that will be putting almost another 2.6 trillion towards health. If you look at the sort of the way that the intergovernmental fiscal transfer, at least that amount. And that will be a huge, huge impetus for this progress that we want to see in healthcare. Now, the investments that we're prioritizing in that is revamping the primary healthcare system, as I mentioned. He's mentioned the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, so the primary healthcare system is become functional. But in addition, there are other elements like the cancer infrastructure and equipment, completing what we had started in 2024, revamping the infrastructure in the federal tertiary hospitals. There are new federal tertiary hospitals that have been established. One has been established, for instance, by His Excellency Mr. President in Ondo, in Akure, which had not had a federal teaching hospital. Another one, a federal medical center, for instance, in Kafanchan, Kaduna State, has been established by the President. So that there is also equity, and we're bringing all parts of the country to really have the federal presence, expecting the states will have the general hospitals and the primary health. Those will cost resources, the human resources, the salaries and wages, the training. It's all embodied in what the President has provided. In addition to those, there's a medical relief program, which is unique, which will be for the first time that we're expanding in this big way. The President cares about the affordability of healthcare and the fact that we know the recent reforms and the escalation of costs of pharmaceuticals, of access to services, is hurting especially the poorest Nigerians. In his wisdom, establishing a medical relief program will procure essential commodities, consumables, in a decentralized manner and get them delivered in a branded manner for Nigerians who need them to have access. It will bring relief. Imagine if someone has hypertension and is not able to afford the cost of treatment. This relief program is intended to provide relief for them. So there are many of those interventions that go directly to the people. It's not just about buying big things or building big hospital equipment, but it's also about the people. So the budget that he presented is as much about macro-fiscal stability, is as much about diversification of the economy, it's much about poverty reduction and human capital development, as he said, but it's also about equity and social justice. And so health is part of that. And I think that's what we are now gearing up. Once the National Assembly concludes its appropriation process and the President signs it into law, then we'll take a look at what has been granted, and then we'll focus in 2025 on relentless execution to reach Nigerians with these services as intended by His Excellency the President.
All right. That's good to hear. Prof, let's digress a bit. Not entirely, though. I mean, this is still within the scope of tonight's conversation. Your ministry was just awarded as the overall best performing ministry of the federal government in 2024 by Servicom. 4 distinguished awards in total. First, what is responsible for this, and what internal reforms have you and your team put in place to achieve this feat? I mean, you say it was more than an acknowledgement of efforts.
No, it is really an unexpected occurrence. Of course, very, very happy, very humbled by it. We're very appreciative of the opportunity to serve and for that service to be recognized. I think my colleagues, whether it's the former Minister of State who is Minister of Education now, Dr. Tunji Alausa, or my current colleague, Dr. Isaac Salako, and the Permanent Secretary, and all my directors, and all heads of agencies in the health sector, we work collectively in putting the agenda since August 2023, when we came into office. Under the leadership of the President, we really put deliberate effort to transform the health sector together as a team in a collaborative manner and respectful of other levels of government, and within the institution to foster that orientation towards serving our citizens, our clients, improving the quality of what we are doing, whether it's at the hospitals, whether it's within the ministry itself. We are not, let's say, perfect, and there would be gaps in one hospital or the other, and I hear Nigerians, occasionally you go to a hospital, there's no power here, the food is not good here, but we're working towards improving that. So this award, I believe, is from Servicom to signal that the work that the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare and all its staff and leaders and managers that are in there, of which I am very proud to lead, they have been able to put a direction and they're beginning to make progress. For us, it's a call to do more, to ensure that we sustain this direction across all our establishments, to be an example to other health sectors in Africa and other places, how we can reorient our systems to serve our clients, to provide the services, and to really have the fulfillment that all healthcare workers have. All healthcare workers are there to serve, whether they're in the Ministry of Health, whether they're in public health, whether they're nurses or doctors. They want to serve others. They want to help relieve pain. They want to save lives. So that is what we are beginning to do. So when Servicom came to give us that award, I was shocked, but I was also very pleased at the end of the day that they were able to recognize the work of my colleagues and all the actors in our sector to ensure that, in fact, they give us that encouragement that when we come back in 2025, we do more.
All right. So, Prof, let me also say congratulations to you and your team. So let's take a break. Let's take another commercial break. And when we come back, we'll move on to other matters.
Happy birthday to a business icon. Happy birthday to a cerebral businessman, a worthy philanthropist, and a proud son of Edo State. As a friend, a dear brother, and a strong confidant, you have remained a strong backbone. I wish you good health, unending happiness, and success in your endeavor. May the Almighty God continue to protect you, your businesses, and your family. On behalf of my family, the good people of Edo State, and the government, I wish you many happy returns of your day. Happy birthday, Limo Ikbea, OON. Signed, His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebolo, Executive Governor of Edo State.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Politics Tonight. Thank you very much for staying with us. I've been speaking with Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare. Tonight, we're focused on reform of Nigeria's healthcare ecosystem. Prof, thank you very much for staying with us. Now, let's go back to some of the free programs we talked about earlier. C-sections for vulnerable women and repairs for girls affected by VVF, but particularly focusing on C-sections. So what are you doing to expand the scope and coverage beyond federal health levels to state and primary health levels as well?
So cesarean sections and emergency obstetric services are not provided in every facility. Primary healthcare centers may not be the places to treat complications. They treat the run-of-the-mill cases, normal deliveries. But if there are complications, they send them to general hospitals or they send them to teaching hospitals. That and the quality of the service has to also be assured. There is also an eligibility. It's not every pregnant woman that will require cesarean section or require intervention. It's only a few, a fraction that will require such interventions. Knowing that, that's why NHIA is going about empaneling those facilities, making sure that they have the nurses, the anesthesiologists, the surgical equipment, and the standards, and that they understand the eligibility so that when a woman is referred for emergency obstetric services, cost will not be a barrier, and that hospital will submit a claim and it will be reimbursed. And we raise the resources to be able to do that. That is removing a key barrier to women from accessing emergency services, lack of the access for which can result in a woman losing her life. The idea is we crash maternal mortality in Nigeria, reduce the number of women who die from childbirth, because pregnancy is not a disease, so why should many women die from it? And it's also a way of targeting the poorest and vulnerable, as I had mentioned, because demographically, we're targeting women, and you cannot fake to be a woman. We're targeting pregnant women. It's real. And if you need a cesarean section, it's not necessarily your option. So by the time we target those filters, you realize that we're really reaching those who need it the most, and we raise the resources for it. For the obstetric fistulas, there are many women, there are about 13,000 women every year in this country who develop one form of fistula or the other because of complications of childbirth. And they are oftentimes excommunicated from their communities, for instance. They are marginalized, stigmatized, because they smell of urine, they cannot hold their urine, and oftentimes their spouses abandon them, they may have lost their children, their communities may think that there is some superstition around them, and they may have all kinds of insinuations. So they get abandoned, and they live in camps, and they cannot afford to have those fistula repairs. And so we took the 4 initial obstetric fistula centers in Abakaliki, in Benin, in Babaruga, in Kazana, and the Northeast Center that is in Ningi. And together with our HMOs and NHIA, constructed a partnership that allowed us to finance those fistula centers, to prepare for and enable these women to have their fistulas repaired, and for the women to be empowered once their fistulas are repaired so they can reintegrate back to society. And more than 1,000 women already have had their fistulas repaired successfully. I saw some of them, as I had mentioned earlier in this. It's making a huge impact in their lives. Small number, but it's significant for those women who are affected. And from outside society, we're bringing them into society to bring relief to those who need it the most. This is not a big construction project. It's not a big equipment. It's also not the usual thing that is glamorous. But it reaches people directly, and the poorest and most vulnerable in our society. That is what we're trying to do, and we will be expanding that. For the emergency services, it's the teaching hospitals. I think almost all our facilities have expressed interest to be empaneled to be able to do that. And I know that many of the teaching hospitals are already providing those services. But we have to also go deliberately and carefully, because the surgeries that will be required, the interventions, there has to be qualified professionals to be able to do that so that it's done safely for those women who need it. And so that is why the NHIA is really, in a deliberate manner, expanding that.
All right, Prof. 2 more issues before I let you go tonight. You know, we recently learned that Nigeria will host a global high-level ministerial conference on antimicrobial resistance in 2026. And for a fact, the burden of AMR is immense, with nearly 5 million annual deaths associated with resistant infections. Why is AMR such a big issue in the global health domain?
So it's a big issue because globally people use antibiotics, and sometimes these antibiotics are not used properly, and infectious diseases develop resistance. They smartly evade those antibiotics, and the antibiotics become less effective. And then when the infections are transmitted to other people, those people become more vulnerable because the antibiotic will not work on them. And there is antibiotic use in animal health, and there is antibiotic use in human health. And sometimes what is used in animal health also crosses over through food, or through water, that contaminates what humans also drink, and the bacteria that are around humans can also get exposed to those antibiotics and develop resistance, or have that resistance transmitted from the animal health world into human health. So that's why it's a major issue globally. It's a hidden pandemic, which people are not aware of, but it exists. So you have a cough, you have pneumonia, you get treated, but you don't get better, because the infection that is causing that is resistant, and you don't know. In developing countries like us, there is issue of access to effective antibiotics first. There are many people who need the antibiotics, and they don't have access to them. So we have to make sure that they have access to those antibiotics. But as we have those increases in access, how do we ensure that we are also protecting the use of those antibiotics for future generations?
So, Prof, because of time, let's bring it back home.
Yes.
Prof, because of time, let's bring it back home. Because Nigeria is faced with a burden of poverty and poor environmental conditions, such as a lack of potable water and sanitization, and also inadequate infection control. These factors are crucial in the spread of microbes, including resistant strain. Now, with a lack of national antibiotic guidelines, do we have an effective surveillance system? And what is our government doing to deal with this menace?
Precisely. That's why we have a well-developed costed national action plan on antimicrobial resistance that includes stewardship of antimicrobials in our hospitals, the guidelines for their use. We will host this global high-level meeting in 2026. We're the first in the developing world to be able to do that. First 2 cycles were held by Netherlands, then the state of Oman, and Saudi did the 4th. And in recognition of the President's tremendous strides in health, the Troika has now been formed for Nigeria to assume from Saudi Arabia in 2026 to host all the countries of the world to this high-level meeting on antimicrobial resistance. Between now and then, we are doubling up our work through the NCDC, through the Ministry of Health and other actors to prepare and to demonstrate how to deal with expanding access to effective antimicrobials while guarding against resistance in the animal world as well as in the human health arenas.
All right, quickly, the malaria vaccine was recently set for distribution in the hard-hit areas of the country. How is the rollout going so far? And when can we expect another set of vaccines that would cater to the larger population across the entire country?
The malaria vaccine is one tool among several tools that we're optimizing to accelerate Nigeria's path to malaria elimination. Today, in fact, the Malaria Elimination Task Force met. My colleague, the Minister of State, chaired it. We're thinking, how do we optimize the various tools, whether it's the bed nets, whether it's case management to ensure people get treated who have the disease, whether it's pregnant women to have presumptive therapy, whether seasonal chemoprophylaxis and malaria vaccines. We're rolling out these vaccines that have been approved, certified, safe, effective in Bayelsa and Kebbi State. And in 2025, we have incremental resources that we would see how this rollout is going, the health workers, how they're able to do that, reducing wastage of the vaccines that we have received, and ensuring that communities understand the vaccines in relation to other tools, and then steadily go forward. Countries eliminated malaria in many countries without vaccines, and we believe that Nigeria can eliminate even faster if we take the other tools and strategically deploy some of these malaria vaccines, which are costly. And back to your question on budget, I think while we have increases in resources in 2025, we're also working to make better use of the available resources. So not only have we have increased, but we want to stretch the resources to be even used better, including in areas like vaccination.
All right, Prof, thank you so much for this update. And evidently, there's been a lot of work done since our last conversation in October. We wish you the very best and well done. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare. Thank you so much for your time on Politics Tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Good night, everyone.
Naija, land where God bless with plenty natural resources, where oil dey flow yafu. But under this land, e get dangerous truth we hide inside o. Pipeline vandalism and illegal oil bunkering dey threaten we environment, we economy, and we people. But ogbonge people dey among us. Whistleblowers, na dem be the guardians of our nation.
Dem dey risk everything to expose corruption and to protect we crude oil. Dem courage dey inspire change, but dem no go fit to do am alone.
Time don reach make we join body, stand up, talk. If you see something,
make you talk something.
Better reward, na him you go collect.
You sef fit blow whistle. Report illegal activities to PINL 08063896937.
This message na Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited and NNPC Limited say make we tell you now. Oh, na don hear?
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. It's Black Friday. ShopX TV is proud to celebrate this occasion by giving away 10% off to all amazing customers from now till December 15th, 2024. Introducing the ShopX 10-in-1 Air Fryer Oven. The incredible 12-liter oven that offers 75% more space for cooking than traditional air fryers. Stay tuned and learn about the amazing free bonus items included with the CookX Air Fryer Oven. The CookX Air Fryer Oven replaces a deep fryer, a rotisserie oven, a dehydrator, an oven, a toaster oven, and a microwave. The CookX Air Fryer Oven's spacious interior and multiple racks allows you to cook for the entire family in one go. Its easy-to-use digital display and preset cooking functions take the guesswork out of meal preparations. The CookX Air Fryer Oven is a 12-liter powerhouse that can fit a whole chicken and feed the entire family. Air-fried chicken and tasty fish, and all made with little to no oil to give that amazing fried food taste and up to 80% less fat compared to deep frying. Here's exciting news. You can air-fry rotisserie. Regular rotisseries have no airflow. It's crispier on the outside and so much juicier on the inside. It features a state-of-the-art touchscreen with 10 presets. The CookX Air Fryer Oven is easy to wipe, so cleanup is a breeze.
I am happy, my husband is happy, and of course I have a happy home. From my grilling on check, to my frying on check, to my baking on check.
This CookX Air Fryer Oven is the bomb. It is super fast, small time, everything all set. And most importantly, it has no grease. No breeze.
The CookX Air Fryer Oven is now available exclusively from ShopX TV. But call the number on your screen now or scan the QR code and get it on the Black Friday deal of 279,950 Naira. The CookX Air Fryer Oven comes with a drip tray and a grill tray. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get not one, not two, but 3 bonus items valued at 50,000 Naira for free. Bonus number 1, an extra large rotating stainless mesh basket, amazing for French fries. Bonus number 2, our stainless rotisserie fork, perfect for restaurant-style rotisserie chicken. Bonus number 3, stainless steel food handle for picking up your rotisserie meat. This means
there's always so much to celebrate in the world of art. Now, we unconsciously engage in different forms of art daily without really paying attention to it. Now, in the words of Thomas More, the ordinary arts we practice at home are of more importance to the soul than their simplicity might suggest. This is the Art Express. Thanks for joining us. Icons Masters exhibition features 6 great artists. Now, this exhibition is a thoughtful summation of years of international investment by the doyens of this visual arts that we are all proud of at the National Museum, Lagos.
I am fortunate to have been selected in the midst of the way older artists, and I think it's not a choice that I made. It's a decision of the older artists whom I'm exhibiting with, people like Babatunde and then Mr. Lakon. Well, I think it's being a master, it's something that happens, it's a process, it's a lifetime process. And then it's one who has been deemed to be seasoned, a seasoned artist, either with your style and technique and experience in the art practice. I'm young, I'm 40, but I think they deem it fit that with the vast experience I've gathered over the short period of time I've practiced, in terms of my techniques, in terms of my medium and style, they deem it fit that I can be termed a young master. You know, but for me, being an artist, it's a lifetime experience, and over the time you tend to evolve and want to be transformed. So, yeah, and I think my work are quite unique. It's everyone says that, and personally, I have huge confidence in what my work is able to gather over the years. I've been able to, within a space of 12 years, gain huge followership, build huge bonds of collectors all around the world. So I think my work quite fits well.
The exhibition's purpose is to celebrate the icons who are masters in their own right. And the journey through mastership is not an overnight journey for most of these artists. So we're celebrating artists who put in 3 to 4 or over 3 to 4 decades of their life into practice by being resolute and being vision-driven about their works. And that's why we have 11 of them, and we hope that it will continue in series. So this is the first of it this year, and next year we hope there will be a bigger one. If you look at their works, each of them with their own different temperaments, stories, and ideas. The only thing I would say that's common amongst all of them is the philosophy to work. I mean, if you've put in over 3 to 4 decades of practice, it's only wise enough to celebrate these people, and you would see that with each materials they've been able to, or medium they've been able to work with, they are masters in what they do.
My work has passed through so many tests and all that, and it's still functioning very well. It's going on well, yeah. Okay, the title of the one behind us is Synergy of the Sea. I did a project before now on octopus, and I decided to work on it again and look for another element that will work with the octopus. Octopus is inside the sea, and the ship, you know, function on the sea too. And I just told myself, these two elements has 8 tentacles. So I just thought of both of them romancing themselves, even when one is living and the other one is not living. So you know when they talk of synergy, 2 elements has to come together to do something in common, or something that will favor everybody. I'm an artist, you know, operating with the art space, you know, and I am contributing to the betterment of the youth.
Well, as you can see, it's a platform that has been put together to, I would say, a body of works that resonates with visual art practice, specifically in relationship to sculptors and painters. We have been here for quite some time, and we have helped to also add our offering to the collective within the creative environment called Nigeria and even beyond. This time we just thought, okay, we have always done this since 2011, I think. It's just like rekindling the flame, but with a bit more of inclusion when you look at the assemblage of artists. And I would say I'm privileged to be called to be part of this. So thankfully I had a couple of pieces that could make the offering. You know, traditionally as Africans, we cherish the extended family just as we cherish our nuclear family. And in recent times, with the amount of conversations around living and well-being, I've had cause to interact with people even on the streets. And I think that's where the inspiration for Civilist came. And these particular young ladies I found around Lagos, typically just doing their own thing, lost in their world, but within the Nigerian environment. It's not for me to give the details of what they were sharing because I didn't want to bother, but definitely whatever took the attention away from them being on the streets must have been something we cannot relate with, since we all share the same typical environment.
On the display of my works here, I have one titled Down on My Knee, which is just at the background, and then I have one standing that is titled Can't Stand the Pain, then the Old, and then In Dear Situation. And all what I try to express in my work is that day-to-day human life existence with reference to difficulties that one is, as a being, will come across. And you just have to live up to the challenges as to make a living. If not, you find yourself dead at the middle of the sea. Yeah, often my works are in bronze, metal, bronze, passes through the foundry aspect. Though I'm not a founder, I always am an artist, but I'm one of the kind that I do my work from A to Z. So I do the artistic part of it, of modeling in clay, taking the mold in plaster, and then waxing the mold, preparing the investment refractory mold, and now when it's dried, it's heated, dewaxed, then bronze is melted, and now the casting is done, and finally the finishing is done and the work is revealed, prepared, finished for exhibition.
Freedom, a solo exhibition by Olawale Oyenubi, which reflects the essence of creative expressions as a tool for breaking boundaries, be it cultural, emotional, or intellectual, featuring 25 oil paintings. Let's go there.
I'm originally a petroleum engineer. That's my profession. I got my degrees in Kwame Nkrumah University of Technology and Robert Gordon University. How do I go into art, or how did I get into art, you might ask? Art has always been my passion. I started from secondary school painting with watercolor. And last year, I decided to, start experimenting with oil color. And, so all this you're seeing here is work from a year ago. So I started sometime in July, and, after a few paintings, I had some people asking me, to try and buy some, and encouraging me to try with an exhibition, which I did. So I had my first exhibition in the UK last year, and I have to say it was a huge success. I didn't expect it to, blow up the way it did. It was a joint exhibition, so I had a lot of other artists, around exhibiting stuff. So it was a good learning curve for me. They say iron sharpens iron. So, just seeing the amazing stuff that other artists are doing was an encouragement for me. And then the reviews that I got, from my own personal work, it was just the propellant I needed, to get this done. Because they were like, oh, this is the best, work that is exhibited in this whole place. And I was esteemed because there were so many great stuff there, So that's how we got here. That's it.
Art is Freedom reflects the essence of creative expression as a tool for breaking boundaries, be they cultural, emotional, or intellectual. The pieces explore themes of belonging, growth, nostalgia, and transformation, rooted in the vibrant cultural tapestry of Nigeria, while embracing the broader human experience.
I have been a fan or friend of Mr. Walls for quite a while. I came here expecting greatness, and I am not. How will I put it? It didn't go less than expectations, because I was there when he started his music career all the way back in Ghana, and now he said he's doing art exhibition. I was like, I know I'm going to expect greatness, and yes, the artworks are breathtaking. Oh, my favorite artwork here would be Solitude from Above. It gives peace. The view gives peace. It gives me peace, when you're alone with your thoughts. So basically, yes, that was my favorite piece.
Langfield Pictures Production presents Trisha Ajax's Double Cross. Now, when three inseparable friends realize they've all been duped into dating the same man, their loyalty is tested. But instead of tearing each other apart, they join forces to turn the tables on the player who thought he could outsmart them. Produced by Yemi Olarinwaju and directed by Femi Tiger at the Freedom Park, Lagos.
I'll talk to you later. I love you. Kisses. Bye. Lola.
It's a very interesting stage play, double cross. This is what happened around the society. So seeing what just happened now, it shows, it gives some of our young girls, teach them a lot of lessons that to look out for the kind of relationship they keep and how they talk about their various friends to some guys that they don't really know. So it's a very interesting stage play. One of my friends, the director, is the one that invited me for it, and no regret. I think I will want to come out more and watch this kind of stage play in the future.
So what the show is trying to teach us is that in today's world, there are so many crazy things happening. You meet someone on social media and you think they're perfect, but in the real world, they're just crazy people. So basically, the show is trying to let people know that before you jump into believing that people are angels in human skin, be sure that they are not the devil's younger brother. Basically, that's what the play is trying to teach us.
Can you send me like 1 million naira? I've exceeded my main account and I need to pay for something urgent.
Lola, listen, see, you know how I roll now. There's a lot on my plate right now.
Maybe, if it wasn't urgent, I wouldn't ask you, right?
Lola, it's tight. It's tight.
Okay,
sorry.
Right, maybe I'll double it, like 2 million naira.
What?
I'll double it for you, yeah.
You double it? Okay, let me try and move some things around.
Okay, baby.
Send me details.
Yes,
let me talk to my guys.
Alright, baby. I cannot wait to see you.
You have to now. I'm on my way.
Yes, baby. I love you. I love you so.
It's a story basically about single ladies who, despite the fact that they're single and they feel that they are getting out of the marriageable age, fall in the hands of men who prey on their vulnerability. Basically, that's what it's all about. We see a situation whereby three ladies who are very close friends, more like sisters, fall in the hands of a particular young man who decides to prey on them using their vulnerability, their lapses here and there, to prey on them and take advantage of them. But we see the girls, the ladies, overcome at the end of the day, who use their girl power to beat the guy at his game.
3 lifelong friends, Laura, Ife, and Zara, always share every detail of their lives, and their monthly girls' hangout is a sacred ritual they never miss. On this particular weekend, bursting with excitement as each has big news to share about the new guy in their life, what they don't realize is that this night will turn their friendship upside down. The situation takes an unexpected twist when they learn that Zara is pregnant with Ryan's child. This shocking revelation hits even harder when they find out that Ryan is married, turning their scheme for a revenge into a painful yet empowering journey of self-discovery and friendship. Together, they confront Ryan, reclaiming their dignity while finding humor and strength in their bond, vowing to protect each other from such betrayal.
Oh, my character would teach you to be very careful when it comes to making decision about the kind of person you end up dating, because that certain decision messed our life up. If you have friends, like clique of friends, you guys should be very careful in going out with guys. You know, you guys should know the kind of guys, the kind of men you go out with, right? It doesn't make sense that 3 friends would go through the same thing, right? Getting duped by just one guy, 3 friends. So that's very sad for them. But I hope you don't have friends like that. So if you have friends like that, just make sure you check your clique and be sure you're working with the right people, and you people are making the right decisions when it comes to the kind of men you go out with.
Bet what is behind these clothes is better. Let me see what you're working with. Come on. Lola, you spoil me still. Come on. Bring it in, girl. How are you? Yeah, it's good to be here. I actually have something for you. Yeah. It won't be a one-way thing. Oh, yeah.
Funny enough, is the regular guy, you know, that constantly looks for ways to manipulate people out of giving him whatever he wants, you know. The good side to this character is the fact that he thinks on his feet. He's able to, you know, not get boxed about anything. He's constantly moving and improvising on several ways to, you know, get things done. However, on the flip side, it sort of makes you become a selfish person at the end of the day. But truly, every human being has a bit of that selfish nature in them. It's just being able to find the right balance to be sure that, okay, whatever you're doing, it's actually affecting the other person positively and not just about yourself.
I just go ahead.
Yes.
You think I'm playing? You want me to stop?
Character is a very sophisticated, from a rich home, and although it's expected that people that are spoiled, brats and all of that from rich homes, they probably don't have manners, but with her, she's one who's humble, hence why she's friends with Lola and Ife and Zara in the play. She's from a very humble background as well. Her dad is a philanthropist, so because of that, they met in school and all of that. So yeah, they're literally just cool friends, and I feel like it's just very different from every other thing.
That is how you do, hopping from one man to another. If you think your body or anything can get you to this body, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, Lola, and I tell you.
I did because I can. I can stop.
And in this class, the ball is mine, okay? Lola, you didn't show yourself.
Okay. My role amongst 3 friends, best friends, that we got entangled with the same guy, you know, Ife and her other friends were entangled with the same guy, you know, it's more, I don't want to say this right now, but I think one lesson you can learn from this is to not be desperate as a single person, be attentive, be patient to the kind of relationship you are getting yourself into. Maybe if Ife was a little patient and not talk a lot about her friends to Ryan, Ryan wouldn't have gone after her other friends. Be patient, be not desperate, just take it one step at a time. I think that's such a great lesson you can learn from Ife character. Yeah, from Double Cross. Yes.
Hey, Oga, wake up, sir. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I know that, sir. So what? I'm a whole wife. Not married. This guy is married, bro. This guy is actually married. Let me wife.
Truly, art takes skills. It is a daily expression of creative skills and imagination. It's about producing works that are appreciated for both their beauty and emotional power. Now, this is where we wrap it up this week. Special thanks to you for tuning in, and have a beautiful day. Bye for now.
TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach 2 million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707-272-8338 or marketing@tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon. I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to our Haka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV station of the year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Who are those behind the Impact and Inspire Foundation? For the purpose of this story, we will identify two persons. One, the founder of the organization, Mrs. Jacobs, who beneficiaries call Mommy, and Mr. Ola, a representative of the NGO in Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. Impact and Inspire Wura Foundation is a Nigerian non-governmental organization based in the United Kingdom. It was established in 2014 and duly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission in Nigeria. From its Instagram page, you will see a big display of goodwill for the correctional service, old people, widows, and orphans in need of shelter and educational support. And that was what they offered to these young teenagers at the time.
I came across them through a friend. I usually go to his place to make use of their computer system. Due to the fact that my dad died, so I stopped working. I had to come back home to stay for my mom and my younger siblings.
I met them April 2022 during one of their youth programs. I went there with my neighbor, who is a friend to Mr. Ola Jason. She took me and some other students to that place. So it was there I met Mrs. Wola Williams.
So while I used to go there, he advised me to try to apply for a job there that they need workers to help them in their IT section, which I did. So he placed me on a call to Wurala, that's Miss Wurala, and we talked. From the onset, from when we started talking, she showed them her approval that she likes me and would like to work with me.
Then I said the only way I can get the scholarship is by coming to work in their foundation, which is at Ikotun, Impact and Inspire Foundation. So my family agreed. They said they will give me accommodation and they will take care of the feeding and my transportation. There was a lot of agreements, both on salary, the scholarship, everything. But the issue was that the agreements were never written down. It was a verbal agreement and the promises too. So that was one of the reasons I even had interest in working with the organization.
Olaoluwa Lawrence is third among 7 children. His one-time sweet relationship with a woman beneficiaries call Mommy has cast his dark shadow on a promising future he once had. When a non-governmental organization, Impact and Inspire Wuraola Foundation, offered him a job as an IT manager with promises of a scholarship, it seemed like the breakthrough he needed.
I heard at the end of the NGO had supported him with payment of school fees for one of the sessions, about 65,000, and that there was a possibility that they could give further support. So he applied for their scholarship, and when it was time for him to pay the next school fees, I heard that they did not pay.
It was not the only one that was promised. 20-year-old Chinyere was also promised all of the goodies. But can the love and quest for education turn into a nightmare, like it did for these two?
I worked here for like 7 months without getting paid. Even with the allowances, the remaining one, I didn't receive any allowance or anything. I did not have any problem with that. Even with that, I was still working. I never stopped working. I never stopped going to the office.
Staying there was not easy because even the food that they promised, that everything this, that, we didn't even see it. Sometimes to feed was not easy. On the day of payment of salary, the woman slashed everybody's salary.
After working for the organization for about 7 months, Samuel Lawrence got a contract job at another company. Thinking it was good news, he shared with the mommy at the organization, but that piece of information wasn't received well enough. That's when the stack of cards and trust fell apart for both parties.
One day, the Olajesi of a guy now called me that he wants me to leave the house, this and that. And I said, but the scholarship people showed everybody, social media, WhatsApp, 500,000, 200,000. I've not even gotten it. And
this happened in October 2022. For Ms. Chinyere, she was offered 2 scholarships by the NGO, 500,000 naira for university education and 200,000 naira for computer training. However, only 26,000 naira was paid to the computer school she attended. What's more alarming is that Chinyere was asked to pose with a plaque of a university she had not enrolled in and provide course details. Prior to this, she had saved 50,000 naira with the NGO's convener through their Lagos manager. On the Instagram page of the organization, Chinyere's picture is displayed with the inscription, Scholarship Award Beneficiary, Receipt of Payment, Payment Successful.
I was surprised. Where did they pay the money to? Which school? Even the school they put there, I've not been to that school before.
The incident that happened made me laugh. Like, I'm not even working with you. I'm not even aware of this event. So why would you even raise a check that you gave me 500,000 without my consent?
This man here is the Olajesin, the Lagos State Coordinator of Impact and Inspire Foundation. And this is actress Shola Kosoko. And this is me. So this is a scholarship of 500,000 at Shola University of Education.
I got angry. I was like, what type of joke is this? Like, are you guys joking? And I won't die. Like where I said it's in PJ. So that was the beginning of every problem I have with her today.
After a disagreement led to her dismissal from working with the NGO, Chinyere requested the return of a 50,000 naira savings.
I said, but my 50,000, I need it. And the 520,000 that everybody believed that people have given me, which people have not. So they said they will send me my 50,000, that I should send my account number.
The NGO blocked on WhatsApp and social media and other social media platforms, forcing her to reach out to them through their public Facebook account. The name of the Facebook account has since changed.
This message, I sent it on the WhatsApp beneficiary group because that was the only group I think this is the best way I can reach the woman. And I sent this message there. This is it. This is the thing they were claiming that I was saying they are fraud. I never mentioned for once that they were fraud. I was only talking about my experience that I had there and how they treated me.
By a petition dated 5th June 2023, which was submitted to the police station at Ikotun, the following allegations was made against Chinyere and Olaoluwa: stealing of flat-screen TV sets, defamation of the character and debasing of the reputation of Impact and Inspire Wuraola Foundation. With a slight push from the foundation, the IPO in charge of the case and DPO charged it to court, but it failed multiple times. Fast forward to June 25, 2023.
I had a knock on the door, like two men and a woman. They came. They said they are from Ikotun police station. I was surprised. They said they should come and arrest me. That the woman came to report.
I was arrested in my house. They were claiming I was involved in thefts, raped. So I was taken to the police station. We were detained. The police station was very, very bad. Sleeping there in the cell overnight, cold.
The IPO at Ikotun had these young persons arraigned in court, and they did all they could to have them remanded. But fortunately, I stood for them. We made an application for bail, and their bail was granted. They are on bail.
When it was finally admitted, Chinyere and Olaoluwa were charged to court on 4 counts.
I'm supposed to be in my second semester 300 level, but due to the incident then I could not go to school. I could not complete I had to stay home because of we had an agreement with the police that anytime I'm needed I'll be coming. It affected many things, many aspects of my life. It gave me a very, very big setback in every aspect of my life.
The Directorate of Public Prosecution writes, giving legal advice to the Office of the Legal and Prosecution of the Nigeria Police Force Lagos Command, saying that according to Section 39, subsection 1 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015, publishing false information with intent to cause public fear and alarm is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 2 years in prison. However, after reviewing the case, officials determined that Chinyere's statement was not false but true, and Olaoluwa's statement was an expression of frustration and anger. Consequently, the office advises that both individuals have no case to answer and should be discharged and released if still in custody. On February 20, 2024, the case was thrown out from Magistrate Court 2, Ejigbo.
The NGO at some point promised to pay 500,000 to fund the education of a particular celebrity who gave birth. They offered that scholarship to a child. So Chinyere went to that post and made some comments on it, suggesting that the promises of the NGO were fake, that she had also received a similar promise for the same amount and nothing was paid. So it was that claim that angered the NGO, and that was why they were so angry with Chinyere Korafo.
After months of silence, Mr. Olaoluwa and Ms. Chinyere got a text message and letter asking them to call the number as soon as they arrived at the station. A normal football match, what could spoil an already good day? But just opposite the mini stadium, these two young adults, their lawyer and guardians, wait to get clarity as to why they have been invited to Zone 2 Onikom Police Station. We were asked to drop any device that could record conversations at the entrance. On April 3rd, after a long debate, explanation and analysis of the case, The police decided to detain Chinyere and Samuel, but eventually cut a deal with the lawyer to be released on bail. They paid 50,000 naira as bail to these officers. Minutes after the payment, we see these two officers step out of the station to a joint behind the station. An invitation from Zone 2 started another tortuous and uncertain journey, one they dreaded for the next 4 months. This time, not just Samuel and Chinyere were arrested and bailed. Samuel's mother was also arrested.
Police station every time they gbé wọn lọ sí court wọ́n dẹ̀ da ẹjọ́ yẹn nù nìyẹn kò tẹ́ lọ́rùn bó tún ṣe gbé wọn wá sí Zone 2 nìyẹn dènà ṣe ó fún wọn lówó Samuel ṣiṣẹ́ fún ẹ ó sanwó ó parọ́ pò sanwó sí school ó sanwó sí school gbogbo evidence tó sọ pé tó ní against àwọn ọmọdé gbogbo ẹ̀ la kó dání kò sí ìkọ̀kọ̀ ń bẹ̀ ó kò lò pò ní ó kò lò jọba ní ó kò dààmú wa ní.
One thing Chinyere feared was another appearance in court.
I'll be thinking, I don't even go out because of that shame of being arrested, of being in police cell, of the whole lies.
I can just need my peace back, nothing else than the peace. Just to be free, please. Just the freedom.
Till now, Chinyere and Samuel, the lawyer, and his mother are still uncertain about what the future holds, if the Impact and Inspire Wuraola Foundation will take them back to court. The UK Charity Foundation got a wind about the case and suspended the Impact and Inspire Wuraola Foundation in the UK. Since then, Impact and Inspire Wuraola Foundation has suspended its scholarship scheme until further notice. Even its office in Ejigbo is locked. We've tried to reach out to some representatives of the Impact and Inspire Wuraola Foundation, but we're yet to get a response from them.
According to a report by the World Health Organization, over 430 million people require rehabilitation to address their disabling hearing loss, including 34 million children. It is also estimated that by year 2050, over 700 million people will have disabling hearing loss. This disturbing statistic came to mind when I received these videos about a promising left-handed girl who faced a severe to profound hearing loss, but using art as a form of escapism and expression. When I discovered that people with this medical condition are only able to hear very loud speech or sounds, I got curious to explore Jomiloju's story. My visit to the Poroye family in Fagba area of Lagos opened my eyes to the power of resilience and willingness even when situations seem unpleasant. Mrs. Omotayo Poroye, the mother of Jomiloju, received me into her house. I saw the picture of a joyful little girl when I entered the house, but I was told of how those smiles were accompanied by unavoidable health challenges she never bargained for. This is Jomiloju Poroye, a 13-year-old girl whose life is a testimony. I decided to speak with her mother to understand how Jomiloju, who was born premature, has become her only source of joy.
We stayed about 2 months in the hospital just watching her because she came out looking very small. Thank God that she survived that period. And you know, as time went on, I just discovered that this girl should be sitting at about 3-4 months, but she couldn't sit. So I took her back to the hospital to talk to the pediatrician. They said because she's premature that her growth may be slow, the milestones may be slow, and so I was encouraged.
When Jomiloju's peers were already walking, Jomiloju had just started crawling, and that made her mother stop taking her along to public functions.
We were referred to a physiotherapist, an orthopedic. We were putting her legs in POP, we're casting it, you know, I have to carry her everywhere I was going. She can't even stand on her own because she had POP, she had scotch casts on her legs. So we did all of that for years. One day she just stood up and she was smiling. She was clapping. So me too, I started clapping. I just busted into tears. She too was crying because I was like, So you will stand. She just stood on her own. And since that day, that's how she started walking.
It was when Jomiloju's mother thought she had surmounted that difficulty that another episode began to gulp millions of naira from her.
I was asked to go and do full audiometry test. It was from there we now discovered that she had severe to profound hearing loss. She could not hear. And because she could not hear, she would not be able to talk.
Jomiloju's predicament was tough for her mother to bear alone. She decided to put all her hope in God and make Jomiloju her source of joy by encouraging her.
So we were told that there's an advanced option, but it was very expensive. They cut this place open, drill the skull and put some electrodes inside and connect it with the brain. So it took a while before it healed. It was a very painful surgery.
Jomiloju needed to express herself even when she could barely hear or speak. Her only means then was drawing and painting as a form of escapism.
When she's talking to me, our words were not clear. So she just goes to paper. She will draw. If she maybe pours water on the floor and she sees I'm angry, she'll just draw. She'll say, "Mommy," she'll draw me. She'll draw and waving her hand like this, "Mommy, sorry." So if she does anything wrong, before I come back, she would have gone to decorate my room with paper. "Mommy, sorry." She'll put sorry everywhere. So that was when I discovered that this girl can actually draw.
Mrs. Omotayo Poroye took me through the series of drawings that her baby girl had done over the few years that she started using her hands to create magic. See Jomiloju walking down the stairs with her drawing materials. For the sake of this report, I requested that she produced an artwork for me. Without wasting time, Jomiloju opened an image of watermelon from her phone to replicate on paper. I watched her closely as she used her left hand to create the shades, strokes and lines in her drawing. Within a few minutes, Jomiloju was done and she was applauded for the finished work.
Have you finished?
Yeah.
What's watermelon?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Colors pattern.
Her mother and auntie have learned to understand her pattern of speaking for the sake of communication. I asked her to tell me about herself and her inspiration for drawing. Jomiloju responded to me, but her words were not so clear.
Did this?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Jomiloju has shown that there is no limitation in the expression of talent. She is a true definition of ability in disability. And as it is, she wants to be a source of joy to her mother, who has actually been there for her all along to this level that she's living to fulfill her destiny. Jomiloju demonstrated her sociable attributes as she played around the house with her auntie. Mrs. Kporoye said Jomiloju had to stop her speech therapy session because of insufficient funds to carry on, since she had been the only one caring for her after Mr. Kporoye left them.
My husband was here. He was very, very supportive. In 2013, I had a baby who was a stillbirth. That was when I had pregnancy-induced hypertension. I had a set of twins after her. That one came as a miscarriage at about 5 months. Then in 2017, I had another one. Those were even triplets. Immediately after the incident, I just noticed that it changed. I noticed that sometimes he won't even come to the house.
I also requested to see the speech therapist and engage her about Jomiloju. She explained how she began as Jomiloju's speech therapist.
Speech detection started with how she can hear sound first, because she was not even, making any sound. So we had to learn how to, listen to sounds. I'll make some sounds with my hands, with objects, a lot of things for her to be able to detect. We did that for about 3 good months.
Mrs. Chukwu admits that Jomiloju's skills will help her communicate better with her environment.
Drawing speaks a lot. If she cannot speak, or if she cannot interpret what you have said, she can use that skill that she has in her to tell you this is what she's trying to say. People will know her because she's very good.
With my knowledge of Jomiloju's predicament and her mother's limitations, I knew that there was a need for her to be well attended to medically. On my second visit to the Kporoye family, the plan was to see her at school. Jomiloju's mother took us to her school, not too far from the house. This is Mulderhand College. The staff were excited to see her. Some students were in school for some activities, and I used the opportunity to get one of them to talk about her.
She's easygoing, she's pleasing. Even today now, she just gave me a thumbs up because I just saved her to do something. And you feel happy, you feel thankful that I like being around her.
All right. Pastor Emmanuel Agu is the director of the school. He says Jomiloju is an intelligent and sociable girl who is loved by other students and teachers. He applauds her mother for striving to give her a good education. Mr. Agu faults parents who would prefer to keep special children at home rather than allow them to express themselves outside.
You society has to find a way of engaging them so that they can sieve out, they can bring out, they can filter out those talents that can be useful to the society. So that awareness has not really been that much in this part of the world. So, and parents need to know that such things don't limit any child. All you need to do is to find people who can harness this kind of talent, discover it, and bring them out.
Abimbola Awolusi is one of Jomiloju's teachers. She believes Miss Kporoye's talent has made her stand out in the school. Jomiloju's excellence in practical classes was part of what Mrs. Awolusi explained to me as she showed me some of her books and artworks.
We had a club exhibition and she was so interested in the sewing. They taught them back sewing, they sewed this bag. She was part of those that did it. And there were some mats. Lots of parents were interested in that mat and they bought it. They all wanted to do what she was doing, but so far, our stitches were the best.
Given the way Jomiloju related with the few teachers and students in school, one would imagine how excited other students would have been if the school was in session at the time of this recording. Before leaving the school, I knew I had one more place to visit, and that was the hospital where Jomiloju's medical record could be accessed. We drove from Fagba to Ikeja.
Who is the restaurant?
This is Dr. Afolabi Simeon, the audiologist at the BSA Hearing and Speech Center. He has been attending to Jomiloju from the age of 4. Dr. Simeon made it clear that Jomiloju still needs intensive speech therapy to be able to communicate perfectly.
How are you? Hope you are hearing very well. How's your school?
After assessing her, the medical expert says she needs bilateral implantation, which will cost the mother some millions of naira.
It's good to upgrade her speech processor. If the speech processor is upgraded, the speech clarity will be there. So, which is what she really needs, clarity of speech. For now, N7 upgrade is around 40 million for that year. So it's around that period. But everything depends on the exchange rate and things like that. But that's an average cost now.
Jomiloju's mother will now need almost 15 million naira for upgrades and therapy sessions to be able to see her only daughter hear and speak well. According to the year 2020 statistics by the Speech Pathologist and Audiologist Association in Nigeria, SPAN, no fewer than 8.5 million Nigerians are suffering from hearing impairment. This figure would have increased 4 years later, but the audiologist believes parents can take precautionary measures to avoid this medical challenge in their children. He enlightens the public on the possible causes of hearing loss in newborn babies.
During pregnancy period, you advise them they should be careful of self-medication. They should follow normal procedure during pregnancy that the doctors will be giving to them. And during delivery too, transfer to avoid prolonged labor. If the surgeon said it's CS, you go ahead with it. When the child is born too, the hearing is supposed to be checked immediately after the child is born to be sure that everything is intact with the child's hearing.
Jomiloju Roye is a bright child who never had the privilege to negotiate how she could be born. Surviving as a premature baby with a hearing loss challenge may have traumatized her and her mother, but one solace for the family is that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, with her self-taught display of artistic dexterity in artwork and hope of a better medical condition in the near future. Ola Awakon, TVC News, Lagos.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it.
Live from Lagos, Nigeria, this is TVC News at 10. Our top stories this hour. Police confirm 35 children dead from Funfair stampede. Arrest organizers as President Tinubu orders thorough investigation. National Assembly passes 49.7 trillion naira proposed 2025 appropriation bill for second reading. Inside Nigeria, court sentences French rape survivor Giselle Pelicot's former husband to 20 years jail term after drugging and raping her. Sports. Super Eagles end 2024 in 44th position in the world, 5th in Africa. Thanks for joining us on TVC News at 10. We begin tonight with updates on the sad incident in Ibadan, your state, where police earlier today confirmed that 35 children are dead from the Funfair stampede and that 6 others are critically injured. Senior reporter Olaide Oyewole has more.
The city of Ibadan is still reeling in shock and grief following the tragic incident that occurred at a funfair in the city, resulting in the death of 35 children and leaving 6 others critically injured.
Madam,
according to the statement made available by the Oyo State Police Command, the organizers of the event, including the main sponsor, Naomi Shilekunla Ogunwusi, and a media partner at Gidigbo FM, the principal of the school, and 5 others have been arrested in connection with the tragedy. The police stated that the event was organized by Wings Foundation and media partners at Gidigbo FM without proper permission or safety measures in place. The police said they have commenced an investigation into the incident and promised to bring those responsible to justice. Meanwhile, the chairman, Medical Advisory Council of Oyo State Specialist Hospital, Adioyo, revealed that 4 persons out of the injured victims are still receiving treatment.
But yes, they needed to be treated, and that's why they were admitted, resuscitated, and we are looking at them to be sure that they are okay. And they would, once they've received adequate attention and care, they will be released to their parents to go.
The city remains in a state of shock and grief, but there is a determination by the state government and security agencies to ensure that such tragedy never happens again. Olaide Oyewole, TVC News, Ibadan.
And still on that unfortunate incident, the chairman of Gidigbo FM in Ibadan has been hospitalized after slumping and losing consciousness, reportedly due to shock over the tragic events that unfolded at a funfair yesterday, Wednesday. According to a source who wished to remain anonymous, the chairman is currently receiving treatment at an undisclosed hospital in Ibadan. The source revealed that the chairman was unable to cope with the shock of the tragedy. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the incident, resulting in the loss of innocent lives with others injured. The president extended his condolences to the government, people of Oyo State, and grieving families who lost their beloved children. President Tinubu is urgently directing the relevant authorities to investigate the circumstances of this tragedy thoroughly. He's emphasizing that it is imperative to determine whether negligence or deliberate actions contributed to this painful incident, ensuring a transparent and accountable process. The president urges the Oyo State government to take every necessary measure to prevent such a tragedy from recurring. He also calls on event organizers to prioritize the safety of all attendees, especially children. Our senior reporter Olaide Oyewole will join us soon for more updates on this developing story. Away from Ibadan to Abuja, where the National Assembly has passed the 49.7 trillion naira proposed 2025 appropriation bill for second reading. But this is barely 24 hours after President Bola Tinubu presented the fiscal document to a joint sitting of the National Assembly. We have more in these packages.
As part of the day's legislative business, members took turns to speak on the 2025 fiscal document led by President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday. House leader says the ambitious spending plan will impact the lives of the people once passed into law.
What the budget has done is to isolate those critical areas that have far-reaching implications for other sectors of the economy.
Lawmakers commend the ingenuity of the executive in coming up with a spending plan of 49.7 trillion naira, but some raised concerns about implementation.
So debt management is critical to our national development and preservation of our international reputation.
Investment in the health sector is going to contribute to sustainable development growth in this country, and majority of Nigerian women and children will benefit from this.
The area of attention is said to be defense and security, infrastructure, education, and health. My question is, what about human capital development?
Other areas highlighted for priority attention include insecurity, fight against graft, food security, increased sectoral allocations, expansion of tax net, and environmental sustainability.
We should also look at how we are to increase the production sector and the local content of Nigerians.
We are hoping that the executive will not further request for loan to add more burden to the economy.
The executive, in their wisdom, to deploy technology in order to live, if not permanently, in the board, our security challenges in our country.
President Tinubu's 2025 spending plan has now been referred to the Committee on Appropriation for further legislative action as the House goes on Christmas and New Year break to resume on the 14th of January 2025. The House has now extended the implementation of the capital components of the 2024 budget from 31st December to 30th June 2025, while work begins in earnest on the 2025 appropriation bill. Joke Edson, TVC News, Abuja.
President Bola Tinubu has allocated 2.48 trillion naira to Nigeria's health sector in the 2025 budget. This boost represents about 5.18% of the 49.7 trillion naira total budget estimates. TVC News' Kemi Balogun has more details.
The debate over improved healthcare funding in Nigeria will continue, but for now, the 2025 budget shows that the present administration appears willing to step up to the plate in giving citizens an improved healthcare system. As stakeholders urge the government to prioritize health in national planning and ensure the well-being of its citizens, President Bola Tinubu has now given a boost in the budget for healthcare. This time around, it is pegged at 2.48 trillion naira, which is the highest in more than 3 decades. Healthcare now has 2.48 trillion, representing 5.18, an increase from 1.3 trillion, which is 4.6% of the 28.7 trillion in the 2024 budget. 402 billion naira has been allocated for infrastructure investments in the health sector in the 2025 budget, and another 282.65 billion naira for the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. Although the proportion that has been allocated to healthcare in the 2025 budget still falls far below the Abuja Declaration expectation in 2001, experts still believe that this budget is an intentional one.
The last 10 years, our budget, fairly remained the same, around 5%.
Dr. Aminu Magashi is a coordinator of the African Health Budget Network. He says this budget has unique allocations, which makes it better than previous ones.
A little paradigm from the previous one. We don't normally have that kind of big money, for infrastructure in the health sector. And last year, 2024, the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund was around 125 billion naira. It has doubled this year. Both in value and numerically, we have more money this year than the previous year.
With an existing plan to strengthen primary health care, revitalize hospitals and ensure access to quality care for all Nigerians, this expert believes utilization of funds still remain key, especially in reducing the major issues hindering major health indices, like addressing maternal mortality, zero-dose children and others.
We need to ensure that our pregnant women, they are attended during antenatal care, they have a skilled birth attendant and facility delivery. We need to ensure that our primary health care, secondary and tertiary, they have fully functional facilities. Electricity should not be a problem. With all this budget, we should manage our money in a very efficient, transparent and accountable manner, and we can celebrate Mr. President if we can achieve that.
Some Nigerians express their satisfaction on the increased health budget, but say more needs to be done.
This budget will be impactful, and though we are like Oliver twins, we always need more. We want more, a kind of standard hospital, good access to medicares, and issues that has to do with child and woman mortality.
There has been an increase in their services, but the one I want the government to look into is in the high prices of drugs.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, revealed only recently that there has been an exponential increase in financing and expansion of primary healthcare services, which has led to over 10 million Nigerians accessing critical services in the Basic Healthcare Fund primary healthcare centers in the last 1 year across the country. Nigeria's healthcare will still need to remain a priority for many more budget cycles in order to address the persistent and evolving challenges that still face the health sector. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
Court grants former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, bail in the sum of 500 million naira with 3 sureties and like sum. We have details of this story and more when TVC News at 10 returns. Do stay with us.
No put your ears, make we talk. Shout my tea fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world? For 0 cavities and long-lasting fresh breath. Mom, you get down to brush. Mama and Papa buy up, use up and shine your smile. No more cover now.
It's the Glow Festival of Joy, and it's raining exciting prizes. Oh, for 120 days, we take it to the max. Mind-blowing, loaded prizes. Take John, winning a tear rubber Toyota Prado by recharging up to 100,000 naira. And Sister T winning a Cha-Cha Kia Picanto by recharging up to 50,000 naira. From the sky coming to you,
yes, the gifts are unloading joy all over Nigeria.
From Toyota Prados to Kia Picantos, Keke Napes, generators, sewing machines, and even grinding machines. Just dial *611#, choose your prizes, recharge the value for the month, and you too can win.
Whoa, you too can win, oh!
You're watching TVC News at 10, and here is a reminder of our top stories. Police confirm 35 children dead from Fanfare stampede. Arrest organizers as President Tinubu orders thorough investigation. National Assembly passes 49.7 trillion naira proposed 2025 appropriation bill for second reading. Nigeria. Court sentences French rape survivor Giselle Pellicot's former husband to 20 years jail term after drugging and raping her. In sports tonight, Super Eagles end 2024 in 44th position in the world, 5th in Africa. Let's now return to our earlier report about that unfortunate incident in Ibadan, Oyo State, where a stampede led to the death of 35 children with 6 others critically injured. Joining us is TVC News senior reporter Olaide Oyewole. Olaide, apart from the figures, what is the latest, on this unfortunate incident? What are you hearing from families of, the victims?
So the news has spread like wildfire, and Nigerians are still reacting to this unfortunate situation from social media platforms, and even in Oyo State, politicians are reacting and sending their sympathies to the government of Oyo State and the sympathizers. And what they keep saying is that the organizers of this event had something good in mind, but was not planned well. So it now ended up the way it is. So
they've been sending their messages. Sympathizers have been sympathizing with families who lost their loved ones, and families who lost their loved ones are still grappling with the loss, trying to put themselves together. And for those who have injured children at the hospitals, are there with their children, trying to ensure that they get adequate treatment. Well, I was able to speak with one mother today who said we shouldn't put her on camera. And what she said was that a 3.5-year-old child almost lost her life yesterday, where she was struggling to pull her child out of the crowd, and that a lot of people were on top of the child. So she told us that the child is now, getting well, and that by tomorrow or next, they should discharge the child. So we've been hearing so many politicians have been sending their messages, sympathies to the government of Oyo State, and they hope that and pray that this would not repeat itself again in Oyo State.
All right, Olaide. The police has mentioned that some persons, the organizers, are in their custody. What is the real position? Did they turn themselves in, or were they arrested by the police?
Okay, so we got a message, we got a press statement from the police, and what they stated there was that arrests have been made, and it was not stated categorically that these people turned themselves in, or they went to their various locations to arrest them. But it is honorable because of the personality involved. We hope that, we think that it is honorable for the personality involved to have turned herself in, that, oh, I've been hearing the news all around, and I know that the police and the state government are looking for me, so I have turned myself in. That is the honorable thing to do, but it was not stated in the statement that so they just said that arrests were made, and the police has promised Nigerians, that thorough investigations will be made, and whoever will be punished for this would be punished, and justice will be served.
All right, Olaide, talk to us.
Situation.
Okay, talk to us about parents and families who have lost loved ones in this very tragic incident. How are they reacting to this? How are they reacting to the arrest? And what is the mood, in general?
So the mood in general in Oyo State, especially in Ibadan City, is that a lot of residents are still in shock, and they are still surprised that how could this have happened at this time, at this festive season, that celebration should be going on and all of that. And I mentioned earlier that for parents who still have their children at the hospitals, the various hospitals, I think 5 hospitals, the children, some of these people were rushed to several hospitals, and we can confirm that it's just 5 of those hospitals. We went to one of the hospitals today, which is the state hospital, Adioyo, and we could see parents sitting outside. It means that those are the ones that their children are still receiving treatment. A lot of them are finding it difficult to talk to us because they are not even happy with such situation. A lot of them are even regretting that they shouldn't have done or taken that step. And one parent even told us that she took along with her two of our neighbors' children, although he said nothing happens to them, but for our own child, is still receiving treatment. So well, a lot of regrets from the parents, and they are still bewildered that how could this have happened to us? We just went there because they promised us that we are going to get this and that, and it shouldn't be something that would have turned this way. So they are just hoping that the state government can help them in whichever way they can render help to them.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you very much, Olaide, for that. No one can imagine. Thank you very much for that update for us from Ibadan, Oyo State. Away from that, an FCT High Court sitting in Maitama has granted bail to former Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, in the sum of 500 million naira and 3 sureties in like sum. Justice Mariana Nene granted bail to Mr. Bello in view of the oral application moved by his counsel, which was not objected by the prosecution. Celestina Iria reports.
As part of the bail conditions, the sureties must be holders of title documents to property in Maitama district or any other area within the jurisdiction of the court. The title documents of the property should be deposited with the court. The sureties must deposit a copy of a means of identification with the court. Mr. Bello must deposit his travel documents with the court and must not travel outside the country without the express permission of the court. He is to be remanded in Kuje Correctional Center pending the perfection of his bail conditions. The court also varied the condition in the terms of bail it had earlier granted co-defendants of Mr. Bello. Omar Oricha and Abdusalami Hudu, through their respective counsel, prayed the court to vary the condition of bail, which says their respective sureties must have property within the Maitama districts. In the application, they had submitted that it had been difficult to get a certificate of occupancy for a property in Maitama district. They prayed the court to expand the location where the property can be located. Justice Anene, in varying the conditions, held that title documents or property of same bond value in any area within the jurisdiction of the court can be deposited with the court. The defendants are to be remanded in Kuje Correctional Center pending the perfection of their bail conditions. The court adjourned to 29th January 2025. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
Talking security, the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu says kidnapping remains one of the most pressing security threats in Nigeria, which has caused untold hardship for countless families, disrupted economic activities, and posed a severe threat to national stability. Sifon Isien reports.
It's the outcome of months of hard work among security and allied agencies in the country, coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor. The multi-agency anti-kidnap fusion cell will serve as the hub for coordinating operational responses, analyzing data to track trends, and building the capacity of security agents in the fight against kidnapping.
Kidnapping remains one of the most pressing security threats in Nigeria today, globally, but of course Nigeria happens to be the focus today. It has caused untold hardship for countless families, disrupted economic activities, and posed a severe threat to our national stability. This menace demands a robust multi-agency approach, which the multi-agency anti-kidnap fusion cell embodies.
The establishment of this cell is timely, given the significant challenges Nigeria faces in combating kidnapping.
The Fusion Center was established with the technical support of the United Kingdom National Crime Agency following a security defense partnership Nigeria and the UK signed in 2022 to stem kidnapping in Nigeria.
There is no one better placed than the NCA to work and advise and assist and collaborate with our Nigerian partners and friends. I've seen our NCA colleagues in action on real-life kidnaps, and the kind of expertise and the collaboration and the way they work across government is excellent.
Kidnap is something that affects every single Nigerian, directly or indirectly. The whole concept of the multi-agency kidnap fusion cell was agreed with the National Security Advisor of Nigeria, Mr. Rivadu, and the National Security Advisor of the UK in 2022. Yeah. Since that time, we have worked tirelessly.
The NSA is optimistic the center will live up to its role, just as many Nigerians are eager to see kidnapping reduced to its barest minimum. Sifon Esien, TVC News, Abuja.
Elsewhere, Benue State government has reassured its commitment to strengthen the foundation of basic education, noting that it remains critical for the state and the nation's future. The State Deputy Governor, Sam Ode, gave this assurance at the inauguration of a remodeled multipurpose hall at the Benue Suburb headquarters in Makudi. Maya Wokwato has more.
prioritizing quality opportunities and access to education and resources for all Benue children, irrespective of their background, is one key agenda of the Benue State Governor. The Benue SUPEB is also working to ensure that comes to fruition, as the Benue child is availed quality education in most conducive environments. Deputy Governor Sam Odi, who represents the governor at this occasion, commends the executive chairman of Benue SUPEB for her achievements during her first year in office. He lauded her dynamic leadership, courage, and commitment, describing her as one of the state's change agents.
Dr. Adagba, we are very proud of you. We know that you are going to certainly go places. It is heartwarming that you are responding to the good work that this administration is doing. You are giving us your cooperation. You are helping us to know that we are doing well.
The SUPEB chairman, Grace Adagba, expressed her gratitude to Governor Alia for his unwavering commitment to advancing basic education in the state. She highlighted the strides made under her leadership at the board, including ongoing school projects, the construction of story buildings in public schools, and the revitalization of the board headquarters.
First of all, we came on board. We made this place as completely a dead place. But with the support of the governor, we were able to carry out a comprehensive staff audit and verification exercise, which enabled us to centralize the entire payroll of the state. We have, through the help of the governor, or rather by the provision of the governor, the state has accessed consecutively 3 years matching grant.
The UBEC State Coordinator commends the Benue SUPEB leadership for the dedication to taking basic education in Benue State to global standards.
We in UBEC, we believe in excellence, and when we see anything that is worthy of praise, we must mention it. Within the short period that Dr. Grace Adagba has been here, she has been able to attract a lot for the SUPEB.
As the most dedicated director of the year 2024.
During the events, awards were presented to outstanding staff for their exemplary service and for their dedication to work. The occasion was also the grand finale of the Basic School Interlocal Government debate, with the topic "Public Basic Schools are better academically and morally than private basic schools." Mayowa Okwato, TVC News, Makodi.
TVC News at 10 returns in a moment. Please stay with us.
Everyone, no put your ears, make we talk. Shout my teeth fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world? For zero cavities and long-lasting fresh breath. Mom, you get down to brush. Mama and Papa buy up, use up, and shine your smile. No more cover mouth. Because we Colgate, that's what we are now with your smile.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it.
Many thanks for staying with us. The Chartered Institute of Personnel Management has inducted 162 new members as full and associate members of the institute. The induction held in Umuahia, the Abia State capital. Nena Gabriel reports.
Public service accounts for 60% of employment in some states in Nigeria. Yet, people often ask, why does public service feel slow and inefficient? The answer lies in one word: transformation. These human resource managers are inducted as professionals to drive the transformation agenda of public service. As the first induction the organization is holding in the Southeast Zone, the president of the institute wants the new inductees to ensure productivity at all times.
Now, what having this induction in Abia today, has done for us and will do for us is to awaken consciousness amongst HR professionals in the Southeast region. As HR professionals, we have learned to hire correctly, we have learned to retain people, we have learned to compensate people very, very well. We have also learned to ensure the well-being.
The theme is HR professionals, driving transformation in public service, and this calls for the professionals to step up action in revolutionizing public service for brighter future.
Objective of public service transformation is to improve service delivery at all levels. And there's no improvement of what we do, of what we offer. That means we have not transformed yet.
The inductees are expected to embody the core values of the Institute, which is script, service, creativity, respect, integrity, professionalism, and teamwork.
For the inductees, they promised to be change agents and worthy ambassadors of the human resource profession.
I believe that our service delivery as a professional manager or human resource manager will be smooth and effective, and it will bring efficiency in service delivery.
To generate good outcomes, to be efficient, to be effective in the service delivery.
High points of the occasion was the presentation of certificates and label pins to inductees. Nina Gabriel, TVC News, Umuahia. Yes.
Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has donated 22,800 bags of rice and 95 million naira to Christians in the 19 northern states as palliatives for Christmas and New Year celebrations. At the flag-off event in Kaduna, she urged Nigerians to embrace peace and unity during the festive season, describing gratitude as a key virtue of faith. Lupe Asom reports.
The Christmas season just got brighter for Christians across northern Nigeria as First Lady Oluremi Tinubu arrives Kaduna to launch a major palliative program.
I came in today to thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for believing in this journey.
She is giving out at least 22,800 bags of rice and 95 million naira to ensure families can celebrate the holidays with less worry. Each of the 19 northern states is getting 1,200 bags of rice and 5 million naira.
I assure you, your pain is our pain. Your joy is our joy. So we are all in this together. Christmas is going to be celebrated because rice, wait. All the governors here can attest that they've started receiving trucks of rice from the presidency. Am I lying, sir? So enjoy Christmas, and we also have some incentive that we won't mention. So our Waziri will be taking care of you. But you see, where people are saying there is casting down, we will say there is a lifting up.
Governors, including Kaduna's Ubasani, praised her heartfelt efforts to support struggling communities.
This gesture, courtesy of the First Lady of the Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is a testament to our commitment to the welfare of Nigerians, particularly the vulnerable. Her Excellency is truly a mother of the nation, resourceful, caring, and compassionate.
I'm happy about it more so that it speaks volumes for those, the doubting Thomases, who feel that the administration is leaving them behind. The message is no, you are not being left behind.
The First Lady encourages everyone to reflect on the values of gratitude and unity this season. Governor Sani made a donation to the Christian group.
The First Lady's visit to Kaduna today will not only brighten the holiday for many families, but it will also serve as a reminder of the importance of compassion and support, even in these challenging times. Lupe Asom, TVC News, Kaduna.
As Christmas festivity draws near, Damaturu livestock vendors are groaning over the low patronage by Christian faithful due to what they described as economic challenges. They say the unprecedented hike in chickens and small ruminants prices scaring buyers from purchasing them. TVC News correspondent Michael Ashoma reports and will return with business news.
Yobe State, a home that breeds livestock in abundance, is groaning for lack of patronage. Despite having one of the largest markets for livestock and ruminants in Nigeria, marketers are still not having a sway time. For decades, people from across Nigeria and neighboring countries visit the market to purchase livestock and ruminants in a cheaper price. And as Christmas celebration approaches, TVC News visited the livestock market in Damaturu to see how the patronage has been so far.
Komai ya riga ya yi tsanani, bi ma'ana wato dabbobi sun yi tsada, wanda da yake iyo zuwa ya saya kamar na 30,000, 25,000, yanzu ya kai 100,000, 80,000. So dalilin haka shine mutane ba sa zuwa su saya, sai dai ko.
Another visit to the chicken market in Damaturu to see how Christian faithful are patronizing it left us dumbfounded. These are chicken sellers seated with their hands folded, wearing a long face and waiting for who to patronize them.
Yanayin rayuwar da yake kasance ya riga ya tsara ne kasance abubuwa yanayin transport, yanzu da muna biyan transport mota za mu ɗauki shata daga nan zuwa Gamawa naira 12,000 ne, yanzu ka ɗauki shata mota kai biya naira 80,000 da wani abu. To dole kaje kuma kan abu na dole ya kawo yanayin rayuwar nan, mutum ka zo ka tsaya, mutum zai zo ka cire 8,000 8,000 sai kaza guda ɗaya, wanda je samu kwanon masara a wani 2,000 ko 2,500 yana fara garin kwanon masara.
A trip to the chicken abattoir to see how many chickens are being slaughtered in a day left the crew in shock, as only one person has been attended to.
Before this season, we buy each chicken is 2,000, 2,500. Just now, I buy some chickens, 15 chickens. The cost of 15 chickens is, each one is 4,500. The total of 15 is 78,000, like this.
As at the time TVC visited the livestock and chicken markets, we observed that Christian faithful didn't visit the livestock market due to the fact that many of them are out of town, while some of them claimed the prices are too exorbitant for them. Michael Oshoma, TVC News, Damaturu, Yobe State.
Hello and welcome to business. The Petroleum Technology Development Fund has entered a partnership with 2 foreign-based universities aimed at providing high-quality education for Nigerians. The agreement outlines a framework for academic exchange and technology transfer to strengthen further the academic and professional programs at the College of Petroleum and Energy Studies in Kaduna. At the MOU signing ceremony at Aberdeen and Glasgow, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Oil emphasized the significance of the partnership, stating that the collaboration underscores the federal government's commitment to bridging the gap between global best practices and local capacity.
The only way you can grow, this industry is also to grow the capacity of those that will run the industry. And if you've gone to the university in the College of Petroleum and Energy Studies in Kaduna, it's a masterpiece. We believe that following this agreement signed, this facility will be put to use within the shortest possible time.
Well, we want to change the narrative. We want to redirect the PTDF overseas scholarship scheme from overseas to Nigeria. The split-start arrangement entails splitting the residency period of the students between Nigeria and the UK. But the students can spend a maximum of 1 year in the UK and then go back to Nigeria to spend 2 years.
At Strathclyde, we were inspired by PTDF's ambition around development of skills and talent to help the oil and gas industry and the transition to a clean economy and net zero. That's very much in line with the University of Strathclyde's ambition as a place of useful learning where we are helping the energy transition in the UK and internationally. We feel we've found a very strong partnership.
Away from that, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Gbenga Komolafe says a new round of oil block licensing will take place in 2025, focusing on undeveloped fields. Mr. Komolafe made this known in Lagos during the 2024 Licensing Round Commercial Bid Conference. We have more from the conference in this next report.
The Nigeria Petroleum Industry Act, enacted into law in August 2021 by former President Muhammadu Buhari, has been described by many as a major milestone in the reform of Nigeria's oil and gas industry after more than a decade of debate and consideration. It is in line with this that the PIA Act under Section 7T empowers the NUPRC to conduct periodic oil bidding rounds for the award of petroleum prospecting licenses.
I am very much delighted and highly honored.
Speaking at this conference, NUPRC boss says the Commission is committed to regaining investors' confidence and ensuring its activities align with the provisions of the PIA.
Section 73, subsection 1A of the Petroleum Industry Act actually mandates the Commission to ensure that bidding for oil blocks in Nigeria, as against being discretionary, shall only be done in a fair, transparent, and competitive manner. So it is a dictate of the law, it's a prescription of the law that licensing round must be done in a fair, transparent, and competitive manner. So what we have done today, and a clear departure from history, is to show that as a nation, that we can actually do things right, that we can conduct and exercise in a transparent manner.
He said the licensing round is aimed at unlocking resources in the sector, enhance production, and expand natural gas utilization opportunities.
Our reserve is about 37.5 billion barrels of crude and about 209 TCF of gas. So what we have done today means that by the time the winners begin to operationalize, implement the terms of the award, what you are going to see is that you're going to unlock the other reserves in terms of, because they are going to go by way of exploration. So with that, they are going to make more discoveries, and those discoveries will optimize the Federation reserves.
Mr. Komolafe expressed confidence that Nigeria is well positioned to attract investment, achieve early exploration and production milestones, stressing that the 2024 licensing round was more than just a commercial initiative.
So talking business, the bullish run at the stock market continues as big companies attract more attention from investors. The biggest gain in the market came to First Bank Holdings with improvement above a percentage point. Others that followed were Access Holdings, UBA, MTN and Zenith. The low traders in the market with losses were Dangote Sugar, United Capital, Boa Cement, CNI Leasing and Wando. Now talking monetary policy, the Bank of Japan kept interest rates unchanged, awaiting data on whether wages would retain their upward momentum next year and to gain more clarity on Donald Trump's economic policies. The 9-member board maintained its short-term policy rates at 0.25% in a sign policymakers preferred to tread cautiously amid uncertainty over U.S. President-elect's economic plans. But hawkish board member Naoki Tamura dissented and proposed to raise interest rates to 0.5% on the view that inflationary risks were building. The BOJ's meeting concluded hours after the U.S. Federal Reserve cut interest rates but signaled a more cautious path of easing next year, sending global stocks sharply lower. And talking oil price now, crude oil prices fell in Asian trade today after the U.S. Federal Reserve signaled it would slow the pace of interest rate cuts in 2025, which could hurt economic growth and reduce fuel demand. U.S. West Texas Intermediate fell to sell at $70.27 per barrel, with a price decline of 0.54%. Brent crude futures experienced a downward price review of 0.57% to sell at $72.97 per barrel. Bonilite sells at $78.62 per barrel, with a downward price margin of 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers offer $73.43 per barrel with a price decline of 0.81%. That is business news. Next is football tonight.
Swore an oath to serve our fatherland and defend the people that traded their freedom, comfortable homes and mortgaged their lives on the battleground for our unity and peaceful living. These are the great, loyal and committed Nigerian armed forces who risked their lives courageously to safeguard our borders. But in the line of duty, many never returned. Nigerians, arise, let's celebrate our fallen heroes. Put on the remembrance emblem to support the incapacitated and families of our fallen heroes.
Thank you for your patriotic commitment to Nigerian unity, stability, and progress.
Parastatals, religious and corporate bodies to donate generously to the Emblem Appeal Launch. Send your donations to these accounts. Account name, Emblem Appeal Launch. Account number 393-200-7526. EcoBank Nigeria PLC.
Hello and welcome to football tonight. Nigeria Super Eagles maintained 44th position in the latest FIFA Men's World Ranking. The ranking was posted on the website of the World Football Governing Body. The Super Eagles maintained 5th place in Africa behind Morocco, Senegal, Egypt and Algeria. Morocco is Africa's highest ranked team and number 14 in the world. Senegal occupy number 17 position in the world and occupy 2nd in Africa. At 33rd is Egypt and 3rd is in Africa, while Algeria is 37th and 4th in Africa. Super Eagles retained the 44th position in the world from the month of November and 5th in Africa. African champions Cote d'Ivoire is 6th, while Cameroon, Mali, Tunisia and South Africa make the top 10 in Africa. Reigning World Cup champions Argentina remain at number 1, France at number 2, at number 3 is Spain, England occupy 4th and Brazil 5th. At number 6 is Portugal and Netherlands hold 7th position, while Belgium, Italy and Germany are 8, 9 and 10 as well. And let's give you results now from the games played tonight. Chelsea defeated Republic of Ireland. And in some other results, Power Nicosia and FC Astana, of course, are playing 1-1 at the moment. Banja Luka and Ammonia Nicosia are goalless at the moment. And of course, Heidenheim. Attention to the Carabao Cup now. Tottenham are currently, leading Manchester United by 3-2 at the London Stadium with goals from Solanke and Kulusevski. Dominic Solanke gave Spurs the lead with 4th goal against Manchester United in a row. A defensive error from United defense allowed Kulusevski to smash home a second. Solanke timed his run to perfection to meet Spence, clicked a ball over the top to make it 3-0. But Joshua Zirkzee caught the lead to 3-1 after striking from close range.
It's been very good, but he wants more from his centre forward, I would say. What's particularly niggling one might cost him a couple of weeks.
Well, they obviously know that
Meanwhile, Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim has criticised Rashford for going to the media first with his bombshell interview about quitting United. Ruben says he will go to the manager with an issue rather than air it in the media after United's Marcus Rashford declared he was ready for a new challenge. The 27-year-old academy product has scored just 15 goals in 67 appearances in the 18 months since signing a big money deal until 2028, with speculation over his future increasing in recent days. Rashford was surprisingly left out of the squad for Sunday's 2-1 win at City and also was left out of Carabao Cup game against Tottenham.
cannot say more from that interview or speak more about Rashford. I'm focused on the team. What I expect is every day, all the players during the training, outside the training, the engagement with the players. I talk about where the way that they dressed. I was just making a point.
And away from that, now the Frank King Group has completed its takeover of Everton, ending the turbulent tenure of Farhad Moshiri. The deal for the 99.5% of the club is believed to be worth in excess of £400 million, and the Toffees become the 10th club in the Premier League under majority American control. The group reached an agreement with Moshiri on 23rd of September and were awaiting regulatory approval, with the Premier League having the final say on the deal, and this has now been granted. Frank King has been proposed as the chairman of Everton's board, with Mark Watt serving as executive chairman. And more stories now. Victor Pereira took training for the first time as Wolves boss on Thursday after agreeing on an 18-month deal to take charge of the Premier League strugglers. The Portuguese coach has signed a contract at the Molineux until the end of next season. Wolves moved for Pereira, who's a client of influential agent George Mendes, soon after they sacked Gary O'Neill on September the 15th. They have 9 points from 18 games so far, and after Sunday's trip to Leicester, who are also fighting relegation. Wolves' next 6 league fixtures are against Manchester United, Tottenham, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Chelsea, and of course, Arsenal. Well, that's football tonight.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Finally, on TVC News at 10, our attention is outside Nigeria, where French rape survivor Giselle Pelicot's former husband has been jailed for 20 years after drugging and raping her and inviting dozens of strangers to also abuse her over nearly a decade. Dominic Pelicot, who's 72 years old, was found guilty of all charges by a judge in Avignon, southern France, and he cried in court as he was sentenced to the maximum term. He was on trial with 50 other men, all of whom were found guilty of at least one charge, although their jail terms were less than what prosecutors had demanded. Ms. Pelicot and her children looked emotionless as the verdicts were read out, occasionally glancing at the defendants and resting their heads against the wall. The convictions bring to an end France's largest ever rape trial, which over the course of 3 months has shocked the country and the world. On Thursday morning, police shut the road opposite the courthouse to accommodate hundreds of people who turned up to offer their support to Ms. Pelicot. That is TVC News at 10. We thank you for watching. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, do visit our website, www.tvcnews.tv. Join our online community. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG. On YouTube, we are live at TVC News Nigeria. We have updates on WhatsApp at TVC News Nigeria. From all of us here, have a very splendid night rest.
alcoholic and non-alcoholic flavors. Teaser's cocktail drink. Masters of fun.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707-272-8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers.
Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, Nigerian Army constructs 400 housing units, presents houses to 20 wounded soldiers and others. Or your state government says carnival organizers arrested over stampede as death toll of children rises to 32. And later on the show, Senate President Akpabio warns President Tinubu's ministers who disregard the National Assembly have no place in his government. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Utitoju and Tunde Abaton. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Yes, let's begin with an update. The legal battle between the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja has granted Bello bail in the sum of 500 million naira and 3 shorties. The trial judge, Justice Marianne Anene, made the announcement after listening to the fresh bail application brought before the court, following his refusal to grant the former governor bail at the last sitting. Bello, alongside 2 others, Umar Oricha and Abdul Salami Hudu, are facing trial on 16 counts preferred against them by EFCC, bordering on criminal breach of trust and money laundering to the tune of 110.4 billion naira. So let's bring the conversation home. BKO finally has been granted bail. What are your thoughts here?
Yes, I anticipated it. There were those who thought Bello would spend Christmas and New Year in prison because the judge had originally adjourned till the New Year. But it wasn't like Justice Anene didn't want to grant bail, but she felt that there was a procedural error because Bello had not been in custody at the time the bail application was filed. You know, it's not the only one. It's charged along with two others. Yes, Hudu and Oricha, who is the DG government house in Kogi. So it's like they prepared the bail papers together, and now brought Bello into the mix.
Okay.
So the judge felt he had not been in detention, in custody, at the time the bail papers were filed. So she felt, no, this was wrong. Okay. So now they appealed to the judge to consider a fresh bail application. Okay. And usually what happens is the lawyers on both sides will be talking. And so the senior advocate, J.B. Daudu, who is representing Yabelo, and the prosecution
the EFCC
counsel, they were in constant communication, and they assured the prosecution that they would do everything to expedite the trial. And there was also the assurance that Bello would make himself available as required by law in the course of his course of the trial.
Okay, trial.
Has to make himself available. Okay. You know, so at the end of the day, bail is at the discretion of the judge. Good. Conditions attached to bail are also at the discretion of a judge. So what then happened was they then appealed to the judge to vary the conditions, that do not let, in terms of properties to attach to the bail, do not limit yourself to Maitama alone. Expand the scope to other parts of the FCT. Okay. Don't say, okay, Shorty must have landed property. Because that will make things difficult. So at the end of the day, it was agreed that bail will be granted bail in the sum of 500 million. I know that this will be good news to the governor of Kogi State, because the last thing that Ododo will want to see is for his godfather to be in jail during
Christmas
and New Year. And for him not to be part of his first anniversary. You understand? Okay. Yes, because the first anniversary would happen in February. So I think around February. Okay. Is it February or late in January? I'm not so sure. Okay. Now, if Bello had continued...
So January 27.
January 27,
January
okay.
7.
Yes.
Okay.
So if Bello had not showed up, if he was still doing the hide and seek game, chances are that during the celebration of his first anniversary, he won't be able to come out. So to those who are saying, the governor is hiding him, this was the governor who took him to the FCC in the first place. And the FCC didn't do what they were supposed to do. So today, both men agreed, go and face these people. And Bello went back to the same EFCC. They weren't the ones who arrested him. He wrote there by himself, So, and they put him in custody, which was what we said they should have done that first time. The same way that Fayose went there. Fayose was taken there by Wike, a sitting governor. The same way that Ododo, a sitting governor, took him. It's not like it's a new thing to take someone to that place, Except people who do not have a sense of history will think that Ododo did something strange, and why is he with him, And all of the attempt to make it look like they never went there, we all know that it's a lie. Now, we want to see this trial. I hope that the lawyers, as they've agreed among themselves, that it to be expedited. Yes, let us see this trial go on speedily, so that justice can be done and be seen to have been done. That's what every Kogi man wants to know, the truth. Did Bello steal this much money? We need to know.
Okay.
Yes, and the trial will unravel that before our eyes. So we are eager to see him face trial.
All right. A quick comment from you here.
Well, what I think is that now that the man has been granted bail, and trial is about to commence, we all know that in Nigeria, the will of justice grants so slow. I want to believe that this time around, we should make sure that all necessary facilities are put in place. Both the defense counsel and the trial and the prosecution should assemble their facts. There's no need for having a trial for 7 years or 10 years. By the end of the day, the thing will be dismissed. So I want to believe that before a charge is put before the court by the EFCC, they have done their investigations, and that investigation should be tabled on the ground. Yes, and there must be punishment if it is true, like Jide said, that somebody has stolen so much. It is not new in the history of Nigeria. After all, an accountant general stole about 110 billion. He's still in custody. So let people. Yes, even returned about 30 billion. When he was arraigned again, he said he was surprised that they are still after him.
He said he thought that after confessing they will leave him alone.
Who does that? Let people know that for every action, for every activity you do in government, there are consequences for execution, and people should be courageous enough to face the law rather than running away from the law. Because the arm of the law may be so long, it will catch up with you one day.
Definitely. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. For the morale of troops to be high, their welfare on and off the battlefield must be enhanced. As part of these efforts, the Nigerian Army has donated houses to 20 wounded in action soldiers in Abuja. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, presented the keys to the houses during the commissioning of 400 housing units under the Phase 1 of Affordable Home Ownership Option for all soldiers in Abuja. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, urged other services of the armed forces to key into the project and provide housing units to personnel. He described the project as a true testament to the untiring efforts of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, who advanced the welfare of the Nigerian Army personnel. A very good gesture in every sense of the word to lift the spirits of these wounded in action soldiers. Don't you agree?
I agree absolutely, and I've seen soldiers wounded in action. I've seen soldiers being evacuated after their vehicles stepped on an improvised explosive device. Come on. Somebody's body ripped apart before the eyes of his colleagues. Somebody's 2 limbs gone before the eyes of his colleagues. That is not what anybody wants to see. And you are seeing that soldier in pains. They are lifting him up, trying to put him in a military ambulance. You are watching. You cannot even explain where he is. The pain is overpowering. That should tell you the extent of the sacrifice that these soldiers make.
Absolutely.
Go to Kaduna. There is a 44 reference hospital. It's a military hospital. If you go there, you shed tears. You cannot stand the sight of those soldiers badly injured, maimed for life. Yet, all we can do for this, we can't return the limbs that they have lost.
True.
You can look at those ones and wheelchair. This is not a life that they chose for themselves.
True.
But they became wheelchair bound in the service of their countrymen. And their countrymen and women must be grateful. This is all that the military wants. When people write some of the nonsense that they write about the military, they should spare a thought for those who sacrifice just for us to feel safe. I always say it, that when you are traveling along the road, maybe you are going to the north, when you see soldiers manning a checkpoint, or even police, well-armed policemen, if all along your bladder was full, but you were too scared to stop and empty your bladder, once you see those soldiers, you feel that confidence. Now go there majestically and empty your bladder. The sacrifices that these people make for us, we cannot quantify it. I just hope that more of these schemes will be instituted across the armed forces and the paramilitary forces. people will remember General Lagbaja for this and many others. But when it comes to welfare of troops, he prioritized it. That's why his death is a massive, massive loss. A lot of our military men have not recovered from it. When you step into the front lines, you know that you can lose your life anytime.
Anything can happen.
Yes, but your country must show a deep sense of gratitude, and this is part of what we are saying. The Chief of Defense Staff, in terms of the welfare of troops, they are doing so much at this time, and we want to see that continue. The President, there is a new this thing that the President has come up with that is also meant to look at the welfare of troops and improve on what they get at this time. He has also even increased their remuneration. That happened some months ago. So this has to continue so that these troops will feel that, yeah, they are not doing it in vain. They should be, their family, even when they lose their lives, their families should feel confident that, okay, the military has planned for us. This is where we'll settle. That is what will make people feel like sacrificing a lot more. But if they feel that nobody will remember them, you know that there's a feeling that the person that died has been forgotten. Oh, nobody will want to sacrifice for his country.
The morale. What are your thoughts here? You know, the country now showing that gesture to these wounded soldiers.
You see, I think it's just a confirmation of the fact that the government is trying to show Nigerians that it is a responsive government. Exactly. When you are responsive, when you institutionalize something like this, it means that anybody who puts his life on the line so that we can have peace, because they put their life on the line, it's not as if they have no option. They have an option. We have seen security forces that have compromised for their own personal level, but they put their lives on the line for Nigeria. I think the thing should be institutionalized, not only in the military, but in the paramilitary forces. Those people who stood in gap for Nigeria, who put their line. I think the president should even do more by making sure that they have carry life assurance, so that they can know that they will be able to serve according to the dictates of our constitution faithfully. They serve the country faithfully with all they have, so that everybody can assure that in any responsibility you have, you will defend Nigeria with the last drop of your blood. I think it is commendable. And I also believe that the war against insurgency can only be won through, not only through the physical, but through the morale boosting of the military, morality of the military, because they will be occupied that, after all, they are fighting for a worthy cause. And we also have to know that, you know, it is not denied the fact that we have been on this war for the past 20 years, and it is not something that we are likely to get over very soon. So that is the more reason why both the National Assembly should ensure that this process is institutionalized, so that no president will come tomorrow and say that after all, Boko Haram war is over, we should not do that. No.
Do you also think that the army should also work with state governors to provide land so that they can get more build more housing units for soldiers like this?
I think not even only soldiers, for all those for all the members.
The members of the armed forces, police, so, and all.
In every part of Nigeria that we have a military cantonment or military barrack, such a thing should be provided.
Okay, NDLE, yes, I remember.
All the paramilitary forces, because they are also putting their life on the line. And somebody who smuggled drug worth up to 20 billion, you don't expect him not to fight back if they know that the NDLE is coming to rape them, including the NAFDAC and some other things. So we should make sure that we ensure the life of the paramilitary forces and have a special package for them, because they are putting their life on the line. It's not only those people who are fighting the battle that are casualties. The casualties including those people who are raiding drug joints. Those people are, because drugs has affected Nigeria in many ways. Our young men going on drugs. So that's why I believe that we should not treat all those drug dealers with key close again. True. Nigeria is not. We should not listen to this human rights thing. No, because when you import a drug that is so. The other time the NDLA seized about 5 duplexes in Victoria Garden City. All of them stocked with tramadol and some other things. That is meant for the consumption of some young Nigerians. True. And which means this country has no future when you destroy young ones with drug. So the paramilitary forces in search of drug too, they should also be empowered.
Now, talking about welfare of soldiers, the police, and everything, let's also look at the state of the barracks. The state of police barracks, state of Nigeria. Do they even have the basic social amenities there?
Well, that's one thing that I'm worried about. Even the training institutions for the police, you need to go and see some of the training institutions. You send people to go for training. There are no louvers, no
toilet.
Windows. They sleep in the open.
Mosquitoes.
Yes. They're left to the elements. And it's not... When somebody did a documentary about the state of...
the police college in Kenya, Channel Television. They
should have gone to others. Well, because that's the way others have been neglected. You know, so generally we need to do more in the area of welfare of not just our troops, but even the paramilitary, because they play. Look, if we defeat drug addiction in our country, crime will go down drastically. All of these people in Boko Haram who are pretending that they are courageous is because of the level of tramadol that they ingest and all that. You know, when the drug fades from their system, they will now be begging. They will now be very sober. A lot of them, their lives are ruined. Without those drugs, they can't even face you and talk to you. It's just like some people on social media who abuse you. The social climbers on social media who abuse people that they are superior to them everywhere. When they see you in real life, they put their heads down.
Their tails, you know.
They put the tails in between legs. They put their heads down. This is something that I had witnessed, even in this company. Somebody were abusing me on Facebook, and then he came here. They were supposed to put him on a program. And he saw me, he put his head down. He couldn't do eyeball contact.
But on social media.
On social media,
he's a warrior.
He is a lion on Facebook. But here at TVC, when he saw me, he became a lamb. A lion on Facebook. But when he saw me here, eyeball to eyeball, he became a lamb.
That's serious.
You know? So it's, that's the way it is. Many of these people do not take drugs. They can't commit those crimes. So we need to support the NDLA.
Exactly.
They are doing a fantastic job. If we win the war against drug addiction, all of these drugs coming into our country that musicians stupidly ingest and think that it is life. If we win that war, there was a day that they were taking a trailer load of tramadol to Sambisa Forest.
Through the borders, right?
No, to Sambisa Forest.
Okay.
Sambisa Forest stretches across several states.
Oh.
It's a massive place. They were taking it and they were arrested. Because you can access Sambisa even through Adama, so they were arrested. Okay. You can imagine if they are successfully driven that trailer load of tramadol into Sambisa Forest. Those boys will be so happy they will ingest it, they will just be misbehaving. You know, they become animals straight away. Not human beings anymore.
It is. Well, we hope that they will give priority to these things, the welfare of our troops. So let's move straight to our next conversation. It is a cash crunch time in Nigeria, and authorities are mapping out strategies to avoid escalation, especially with the approaching yield time. In this regard, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has restricted point of sales POS agents to a daily transaction limit of 1.2 million naira. The CBN also introduced a daily transaction limit of 100,000 naira per customer for cash-out transactions conducted by the agents. This implies that customers can only withdraw 100,000 naira daily from POS agents. In a circular on cash-out limits for agent banking transactions signed by Oladimeji Yisa Taiwo for the Director of the Payment System Management Department at the CBN, agent banking services are now to be demarcated from merchant activities, and agents must apply the approved agent code 6010 for agent banking activities. Okay, BK, POS have become integral in promoting financial inclusion. Yeah. But first of all, what do you make of this new directive from the CBN, and what will it do to these POS operators?
I think it will definitely limit even the scope of their operations. Okay. And certainly in the urban, semi-urban and rural areas, the effects will be felt. Because look, let's face it, these guys are doing the job of banks already. And even in the urban centers, more and more people would rather deal with the POS operators than go to the bank. Because what is the point? You have, they can only give you
10,000. Yes,
in some cases they will tell you 10. In some cases they will give you 10. And the POS operator, once you give him your ATM,
you are ready to pay the
he's prepared to give you 100,000 if you want.
So you weigh your options.
So why would you not go to? Yes, you will charge you for that, but you still prefer that than to go into a bank where they will tell you that, okay, we can only give you 20,000. What the CBN wants to do is limit the cash in circulation. But in spite of all those efforts, look at the cash outside the banks.
It's more than.
Is becoming, is getting to that level that we should all be worried. Because more and more people now would rather do business with these guys. People have cash, you keep the cash at home. Because they don't want to run into a bind and then think they can get the banks to assist them. Maybe there is a health emergency, for example, and you need money quickly, and your bank is telling you it's only 20,000 they can give you. If you found yourself in that situation, nobody will tell you before you run to a POS operator.
Exactly.
So now that people have, even the banks cannot say they are not working with these POS guys. Because who are the people? Apart from, yes, they say, some of them will say, no, we are collecting money from filling stations, but banks are colluding with them. Banks are selling new notes. If you go to the bank and nobody will give you a new note, who are you to collect new notes from the bank? But
all this money,
there are people who sell new notes.
Parties, yes.
Yes, now. There are people who sell new notes. These bank staff are the people who give it to them. Sure. So what is going on? It's not, we are not saying, oh, leave the POS operators unregulated. They are agent bankers, so they need to be regulated, you know, based on the CBN rules. But they've come to fill a void, and it is not their fault too. I can tell you in Kogi State, I can count the communities where we have banks on my fingertips. And it's the same thing with Zamfara. How many local governments in Zamfara have banks? These are the people that our guys are using. And after the experience of when Emefiele decided to punish Nigerians with the so-called Naira repainting exercise, which some TV analysts sat down and said, we stand by Emefiele, stand by Emefiele. Open your mouth to say you stand by somebody who was oppressing your fellow man. It shows that you've lost conscience.
True.
When that happened, more Nigerians took the decision to not take money to the banks. Because what's the point? People were rioting in front of banks. The people who are deluded, the blind people who are saying they stood by Emefiele, they didn't see those scenes where women, bank staff who are women, were being helped to scale banking walls to escape from angry bank customers. How can people keep their money somewhere and they can't access the money? And people are starving at home. Children can't go to school. Parents can't pay school fees. Ordinary 1,000 to give to your child, put in his hand for him to go to school and even feed while in school. Parents could not do it. Some parents lost their heads inside banking halls. You saw some of those who are tearing their own dresses inside banking hall. So for that reason, some people have refused to put money in the banks. They've refused. If they have cash, they go to POS. POS will collect the cash from them, lodge it. They will use that cash to then transfer business, sell to others. This is where we find ourselves. I've seen this vice president complaining bitterly about this. Exactly. The fact that POS operators are even exploiting Nigerians. But what can we do? What can we do? You cannot blame a man who went to a bank and the bank, his bank told him we can't give more than 20,000. He's just a victim of that today.
So you think this directive will sanitize the system?
I know why this directive was taken. I know why they took this decision. But we have to also be careful not to overregulate. Okay. Considering the role that these agent bankers are playing, especially in those
rural areas.
Robbers have caused many banks to shut their branches in rural areas. They forced them. So is this POS that we rely on, largely?
Okay, we need to go on this quick break, okay? But when we return, I want to ask, for the unbanked, most especially in the rural areas, how will they receive this? What do you think their reaction will be? Do you think they'll receive it well or not?
Well,
we'll return after this break. Don't go anywhere. It's still Journalist Hangout. All right, welcome back to the program. Still Journalist Hangout. I still have Babajide Koladu Titoju and Tunde Abaton. So before we went on that break, I asked you, for the unbanked, how will they receive this directive?
Well, it is not surprising in the sense that you said they are unbanked for the fact that they have been used to this system, especially, like you said, during the Emefiele, the last 6 months, when Emefiele reigned like an emperor. They were affected and they reverted back. I could remember the last time Nigeria had this experience was in 1984, when the Buhari regime came to power and they wanted to change money. Okay, change. I was a teacher in one of the rural areas in Ogun State there. It was there I discovered that the money people had in their house, you will look at their house like this, you would think they are poor people. They kept money inside the wells that has no water inside them. They now took it to bank. That was when Nigeria knew that not only necessarily people in the rural areas are not poor. But now what happened last year towards 1993 has taught Nigerian lesson that the confidence in the banking system has been removed. So it will take a very long time for that confidence to be restored by this central bank of people to go. I went to the bank around 3:30 p.m. today. I saw a lot of people on the line. The maximum that was collected in my presence was, I went there to transfer. And I have never attempted to collect any cash from bank in the last 6 months. In fact, my wife has become my POS. Every morning, she will come to me with her POS. Do you want to collect money? So there's no point. So the thing, what we are saying is that it will take a very long time for the unbanked to readjust or to be persuaded to start taking their money to the bank. Because those people who transfer business on a daily basis, go to Ketu, go to Mushin market, go to Duway market, and all these big markets in cities. They touch money on a daily basis. So they cannot afford to keep their money within the banking system that is not reliable. So it has also taught them something, how to operate the Android. A lot of people now know how to operate.
Do you think this, this directive or this thing would actually improve the cashless policy?
Well, it's a two-way thing. In the first instance, people will learn how to transfer money on that thing. Okay. But for the illiterate, you will now have to catch their confidence on the POS. They will still give them money. For those who are, you will still give POS. It will take a very long time for you. Okay, what is the essence? Let me say, you have 10,000 to collect from the bank. You now have to spend about 2,000 naira to go to your bank to collect that money. And somebody is nearby you who will take 200 naira commission. Okay. Which one do you prefer? Your time or your money? You are going to spend time. You are going to spend money going to the bank to collect money. And when you get to the bank, you join a queue. I have not seen queue in banks in the last 3 months. We are not saying
there's no queue again.
There's no queue again, but naturally there must be money in the banking system. But what I'm surprised is that the banks themselves, they direct beneficiaries of the POS operators. Because if you go to a POS now, you transact money. The bank will take their own commission. The POS operator too will take money. If you go to a retailer selling medicine, you want to transfer 1,000 naira, he will tell you that, please, so you have to add 25 naira on it, on that your transfer, which means that 25 naira is for him and for the bank. So the banks too are making money from that particular. So what I think is that they need to restore the confidence of Nigerians to bring them up. Because I know the money
to the bank
in circulation
is more than the banking
system. 3 times or 5 times more than the one in the bank. And the bank still needs money to do the daily activities.
Okay, BK, still talking about the cashless policy, looking at issues of technical issues, transacting online. In your opinion, do you think Nigeria is ready to go completely cashless?
No, we can't. You can't. Even in India, India is far more advanced technologically than us. India is like the global capital for information technology. In the rural areas, a lot of people still transact business in cash in India. And that's why we said, look, you cannot assume that everybody, this thing, it has to be a gradual process.
Gradual, okay.
You cannot get everybody to embrace cashless policy wholesale. It's not going to happen. The people in the rural areas who are farmers, a lot of them are illiterate. You can't even talk to them about cashless policy. Many people in northern Nigeria, for example, they don't use the banks. They have no need for the banks. One, for religious reasons, and that's why some of the banks, like the Islamic banks,
yes,
some of them are embracing Islamic banks, even, but the rate of embrace is not even substantial. It's not encouraging. It has to be, more people need to even embrace those Islamic banks, yes, where interest is not paid on your money and all that. People want to do business, they put their cash on the ground. Another person comes, he wants to transact business with them, the cash is there, they do it. I've seen where in Kano, in Singa Market, that Singa Market is an international textile market that people come all the way from Central African Republic to do business there. They hired people count money for them. They hire able-bodied men, about 10. All they do throughout the day is count money. I'm telling you, ask anybody.
What a job.
All they do is just count money. In Kano, Singa Market, Kantenkori. All they do is just count money. I had an uncle who was also into retailing of cosmetics and all that. So we were always going there around 1992. The old man will just sit there. They're just counting money. All they are doing is counting money. So somebody who needs the money, they're going to do business somewhere else. You just, okay, give him, how much are you counted there? Okay, I've counted 5 million. Okay, give it to this person. They are right there doing business on the go. They have no need for the banks. They don't go to the banks. All their business for the day starts and ends there. They are counting. They are sweating, counting money. You know, I would never be a place like Kano. Honestly. Okay. That's why the Kano man is happy to say Kano Tadabo. Code Damekazo Amfika. That despite how big you think you are, where are you coming from? We are bigger than you. That is the way Kano people see themselves. Whatever it is that you see that is monstrous, okay, when you come to Kano, you see that they play.
You have to be humble. But now, looking at this CBN restriction, do you think it can be sustained? Not just a flash in the pan?
Well, the problem is that, like I read 2 days ago, the EFCC paraded about 2 men for hawking.
I think I'm worried about something. But it's 100,000.
Yes.
For example, if we are building a house in the village, the POS people, they are they are almost indispensable. The money that you pay to the
bricklayers the Amazons
from them that you collect. Now, once you've restricted them,
200,000.
That means for that day, you cannot, except you have different accounts and all. I don't even know, maybe because the banks are your accounts are connected to BVN.
Yes.
Maybe what they are saying is that you cannot then go to another use another ATM to collect. So how will this not affect people? And they can't go to the banks. And it's not in all cases that you just transfer money to people. And sometimes, what of the problems that arise from you say you transfer money?
Exactly.
You want to spend 2,000. Nobody wants you to transfer 2,000.
Give me the cash.
There are times you transfer money for over a week. They've not received it.
They've not received it.
So I think the CBN really needs to do some, public enlightenment.
The problem is not about really outlaws, about enforcement. But they enforce it.
Well, anyway, let's go straight to our next conversation. Tragedy was let loose. Your state, southwestern Nigeria, when a stampede turned children's carnival into a calamity. The death toll of the stampede, which took place at the Bashon Islamic High School in Ibadan, has reached 32. The carnival was organized by women in need of guidance and support, a non-governmental organization, and the founder, Naomi Shilepwola, is said to be under police interrogation. Multiple sources at the scene said the victims were stampeded to death while trying to break through the main gate of the premises. Such a tragedy, especially in the month of December, when people ought to be in a festive mood. So, Tunde Abaton, tell me, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think this is not the first time we are experiencing this kind of thing. When it is not a football match that you are organizing, how can you throw out such kind of thing? Looking at the poverty level. Yes, if the intention of the organizer is to help the poor people, you must also help the poor people to help themselves. Because when you throw, in a season of hunger, when you throw the place open like this, you expect something like this will happen. Or, there are some people, their daily means of sustenance, just 1,000 naira means a lot to them. So when you not throw a whole place open, you don't put security in check, you don't do a lot of things, you expect that such a thing. Even ordinary football match, that people are going there not to collect money. People trample on each other, talk less of sharing foodstuff, Indomie, all these little things. So I think the organizers at OPM, they didn't do their own work well. They are much more, they concern more on the publicity they want to get from that thing than on the security.
You think it's the publicity, not the intention to help people?
Yes. You can't just excuse. If you want to help people, you also have to put certain things in place. Look, some people are suffering. You cannot just say because you want to give people 1,000 naira or 5,000 naira, you now throw the place open. We have to learn from experiences of the past. Things like this have happened in the past before. Okay, look at those people who have been there about 7 years ago at Abuja Stadium, the National Immigration Service.
Yeah,
immigration service. You are conducting interviews.
What are the customs when they want to sell auction rice?
Auction rice.
Exactly.
Yes. The way they trample upon them. I think whenever we want to do things like this, people should learn from experience. And like I said, they are much more interested in the fact that the crowd is coming. I'm yet to be convinced that they are no more interested in those people coming and the camera thinking that we are doing philanthropy than protecting those people. You cannot do that in a situation we have in Nigeria today. Where you won't be able to control you won't be able to control it. There's poverty in the land.
Do you share the same thought?
Yes, poverty.
Absolutely. I was in River State 2 years ago or so. It was a church that organized it. You remember? And people were trampled to death. So how much longer are we going to be allowing this to happen? If you want to do something like this, you must have enough people to ensure crowd control. You must put ambulances in place. Because people will faint out of exhaustion and all that. There has to be medical facilities, mobile medical facilities put in place that will ensure that people suffering from exhaustion and all that, you can easily take care of them. But the crowd control is important. If you cannot get the crowd control right, things will go wrong. Things will go wrong. So how much longer are we going to be allowing this to happen? I learned that people came from communities even outside of Ibadan. Because the radio station, Agidigbo, is listening to across the length and breadth of the Southwest and even beyond.
That his station was not part of the...
Huh?
The man came out today to deny that the station was not part of the arrangement.
So
but they used him as PR.
Yeah, but the announcement, the announcement was through them. I'm not even blaming
this radio station.
But I'm saying that when people have, because it's a very popular medium, once people had from the hinterland that this is going to happen and that there will be scholarship for children, scholarship will be given along with other bountiful gifts, of course, they bombarded the place. And if you organize this kind of thing maybe 10, 15 years ago, the level of hunger now was not like that. So don't underrate the way people would descend on the area like paratroopers. These people are hungry. No one can deny that people are hungry at this time.
Sure.
I will not sit here and deny that I do not know that people are hungry. What will make me? What will make me not admit that? No, it's not going to happen. I will admit it that people are hungry at this time. So when you want to do a thing like this, try to learn from the experiences, the ugly experiences of the past. The one that happened in Rivers, we've not forgotten. The customs thing. The moment people heard that, oh, they are going to auction rice, this and that, what did we see? People lost their lives trying to get cheap rice. And then children, for any reason, we shouldn't let children die cheaply like this.
Just like that.
Because they are not to blame for the mess that we found ourselves.
Sure.
What is, how is what we are going through their fault? But even parents will push their children out.
Some of them brought their children. But let me ask you.
Parents these days, even at Owambes, you see what they do with food.
Food, yes, they push their children for.
They put their children food. They put food in plastic bags. Some will collect food like 3-4 times.
Those ones are just greed.
No, because they think that they say, for how long are you going to eat it?
Yeah, I heard that some mothers even brought more than 4 children. But let me ask you, with the best of intentions, when you want to do something, if you don't plan properly for it, it turns out. Do you think the government of Oyo State should make examples of people who have done this to avoid a repeat of it? You said that it's happened before.
It has happened before in several places.
Should the government make examples?
I think that I want to believe that the declaration of Governor Seyi Makinde that they are going to try those people. I want to take him serious. If they are not going to play politics out of it, like I said, the government should take a step further and investigate those people behind it, investigate their motives, and investigate what all the precautions. They are, like Jide said, how can you want to organize in a big place like that and you just throw it open, allow people to come from home? Like I said, there's poverty in the land. There's hunger everywhere. 1,000 naira means a lot of difference to a family of 5 or 10. And what are they giving them? Indomie, rice, all these things. And
they promise other things.
They promised other things.
So I think that there should be a standard of doing things in Nigeria. Anybody wants to do anything that involves the public, especially during this period we are in today, there should be government guidance, security in place.
Okay, like a government permit first.
Government permit and
I think government has to even
security.
They have to hold meetings. They have to know the steps that they are taking to ensure that this thing does not go wrong.
For safety.
So before you can get the permit to even organize such a thing. I know people will come with fundamental rights, all of this nonsense. But the human lives now being lost. So government has to say, okay, you want to do this. What plans do you have for crowd control? Because you must be able to manage the crowd. What plans do you have? How many soldiers do you have? How many policemen? Where do we come in? How do we assist? Because at the end of the day, people will blame the Oyo State government, for what has happened. They are not going to blame the organizers alone. People will even say, okay, if not because government is not allowed to responsibilities, and because of hunger, it's because of the hunger. They will still blame government for this. Now government has to put his foot down. If you want to organize such a thing that will involve a mammoth crowd, certain steps must be taken. If you cannot guarantee that you can put all of those measures in place, they should not allow you to hold it. And if you try to,
will this
do
not
it,
discourage those who want to help?
nobody is saying no. If you want to help,
yes,
you also have to be sensible in helping.
That's true.
We are saying that the crowd control was whack. We are not saying don't help people. But there are ways by which you can do this that it will not lead to people losing their lives and all that. Because we don't want to see that.
Look, for instance, now, even in churches and mosques, let's say today is Friday and tomorrow is Friday now.
Okay.
If they should announce in the mosque that by Sunday afternoon, they are going to bring certain things. If the population of the mosque or church is 200, I can bet it with you, in the next 48 hours, 2,000 people will go to such an event to worship. And when 2,000 should invade a place that normally takes 200, the number of ushers and all that they have cannot contain them.
No, they will be able to handle them.
Contain a crowd, there will be crisis.
Yes.
If there's crisis, people will die. Some people will even fight each other. So the purpose of organizing, giving that thing out, is already defeated.
Yes.
The scripture says that even when you are helping your neighbor, you don't have to allow your left hand to know what your right hand is doing. People should be discreet in what they are doing and should follow normal channel, especially when it concerns the members of the public. At a season like this, when hunger is in the land, people should not just, like I said, I think they are much more interested in the noise they want to make than the life they want to save.
Holding people to account, do you think the government or your state government should make examples of?
The other day, some people put explosives in a residential area.
Yep.
In this
and nobody knew
state.
Ibadan.
Look at, we lost lives. People lost their buildings. People's lives are being ruined. So by some of the actions of some individuals, if you cause lives to be lost, government has to take what you have done seriously. That is what we don't do in this country. That is what we don't do in this country. We must make people pay for bad behavior.
There must be consequences.
You cannot. You put people on trial for negligence.
No matter the good intention.
Yeah, if you do not take care of the crowd control.
The good intention is defeated.
You made so much noise so that so many people can come. Noise. Okay, when they come now, you cannot handle the crowd. And you didn't put anything in place to ensure that you bring the crowd under control.
How many families are mourning in Oyo State?
Yes. So what have you gained? That's why when he says they were far more, they should have invested more in crowd control. They should have invested more in putting health facilities in place, mobile health ambulances and all that. Those who suffer for exhaustion, you go and take good care of them.
Time that we should lose 35 people.
No, especially because they wanted, things that normally should be at their beck and call. We are not saying don't help the needy, but you must do it sensibly.
The right way, exactly.
You must do it sensibly.
Do it the right way.
How can you invite a large crowd to a gathering? You have no crime control and you have no crowd control.
After all, if the essence is to even help those people, why not take those things to them at their location? For instance, now if they have a plan of distributing 200 bags of rice, you can decide to say it is in 4 local governments.
Okay,
decentralize it.
Okay, decentralize. That's another one.
You can decentralize instead of asking them to
even during COVID, some of us were involved in sharing palliatives.
Even my
I know how tough it was to control
even
crowd.
My
People trekked.
We tried to sample some people who are deliberately you are actually poor and give it to them instead of saying queue up and line up. Anyway,
you know, people trekked from Okpailu to Akute
to collect Okpailu.
Yes,
I imagine that's about
Okpailu.
That's about 20.
And this place where Lagos has water works.
Iju now.
So the other one. There's another one. Adiyon. They trekked.
You can imagine.
There was a woman. She was almost exhausted, and she was getting to a place where we were distributing. She almost fainted. We had to quickly attend to her.
All right,
and you must have big people with muscles to control crowd.
Exactly.
All those bad boys in the area, we got them to help us control crowd. Not to talk of more than 5,000 children.
All right, gentlemen. Wow. What a sad way to end the show, but Thank you so much today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. BKO. Thank you very much. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangouts on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oresheng. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Kano State, the commercial capital of northern Nigeria, is on the march to progress and innovation with Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf in the saddle. Be part of the vision that is transforming Kano State into a hub for economic growth and opportunities. Hear directly from the governor as he engages the people, listens to their concerns and shares his vision for a brighter future. Explore the developmental projects embarked upon by his administration to change lives from infrastructure, healthcare, education to tourism. Watch the rich history of the culture and tradition of Kano and savor the vibrant spirit that unites the center of commerce on Kano Spotlight. Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Albert Chinua Lumogu Achebe was born November 16, 1930 in Ogidi, Nigeria. He went to Government College in Umuahia, Nigeria. In 1948, Achebe won a scholarship to the University of Ibadan to study medicine, but after a year, he changed his major to writing. After graduation in 1953, he became a scriptwriter for the Nigerian Broadcasting Service, NBS, eventually becoming the head programmer for the discussion series. In 1956, he visited London for the first time to take a training course with the BBC. On returning, he moved to Enugu and edited and produced stories for the NBS. Achebe was unhappy with books about Africa written by British authors such as Joseph Conrad and John Buchan, because he felt the descriptions of African people were inaccurate and insulting. In his spare time, he worked on Things Fall Apart. The novel was published in 1958. The book won immediate international recognition and also became the basis for a play. His second book, No Longer at Ease, published in 1960, is set in the last decade before Nigeria achieved independence. In 1961, Chinua Achebe met and married Christiana Chinwe Okoli, and they eventually had 4 children. The third book in the African trilogy, Arrow of God, was published in 1964. Achebe published his fourth novel, A Man of the People, in 1966. The novel tells the story of the widespread corruption of Nigerian politicians and ends in a military coup. During the Biafra conflict, Achebe's house was bombed and his friend Christopher Okimu was killed. Achebe and his family went into hiding in Biafra and then fled to Britain for the duration of the war. From 1972 to 1976, Achebe held a visiting professorship in African literature at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. After that, he returned again to teach at the University of Nigeria. He became